53-49 loss to Michigan State at the Breslin Center. Loyola beat Davidson in the A-10 ahead of their conference tournament. In the Valley, conference tournament action kicks off today. UIC taking on the Salukis of Southern Illinois. Illinois State takes on Evansville. Valparaiso has a contest with Belmont. Cubs 6-5 winners over the Angels in spring ball, while the Sox got knocked around the park in a 12-9 loss to the Dodgers. The news, a service of Fox Valley Coins, currently buying all gold and silver bars and coins, silver dollars, rare date, proof, and mint sets. Visit foxvalleycoins.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, this is Randy Donley from Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois, with my current want list for upcoming auctions. Guns and military items are always at the top of my list, but I have buyers for vintage automobiles and motorcycles, old gas pumps and automotive signs. Do you have pinball machines and coin-operated games like slot machines, jukeboxes? How about Coke machines and soda machines? Also, neon signs, antique phonographs and music boxes, old toys, especially science fiction and Star Wars, cowboy and Native American collections like barbershop, ice cream parlor, and saloon items. We'll take one item or an entire collection. We sell it all. Call me before you sell your items outright, because you could be leaving a fortune on the table. And you won't know until you call me at 815-923-7000 or send me an email at donleyauctions.com. My job is to get you top dollar for your collections, so call me at 815-923-7000. I'm Randy Donley, and I'll see you at the auction.
Do you own a business? Are you aware that your business could be hijacked right from under you without your knowledge? Yes, hijacked. Here's how. Fraudsters pretend to be owners and officers of your company by filing false statements of information with the Secretary of State. They essentially become you. That is frightening. BizTrack from Capital Oversight can help defend you and your business and keep you from losing everything. BizTrack offers the most proactive real-time business identity theft solution. BizTrack actively monitors your business information 24/7. It detects any changes that may impact your operations and immediately notifies you by phone, text, or email. Don't leave your business exposed any longer. Secure your business. Secure your future. Trust BizTrack from Capital Oversight. Go to protectmycorp.com right now. That's protectmycorp.com or call 855-417-1700. Don't delay. Let BizTrack protect your organization from identity theft.
It's 512 on AM 560, The Answer. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Robert Half. They know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today. Only one major problem, Bartlett this morning. Army Trail Road, east and westbound, between Smith and Gerber, entirely shut down due to a gas leak there. The road will not reopen till sometime after the morning rush. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Rose Tamburino.
We'll have some sunshine as we start the day today, but clouds will be increasing. The high today 51. Periods of rain toward dawn tonight, otherwise cloudy with a low 42. And then occasional rain tomorrow with a high of 50. I'm Rose Tamburino on AM 560. The Answer.
At Chicago O'Hare 38, Midway 40, Aurora 36 under partly cloudy skies. Your next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next on AM 560. The Answer.
You know what happens when a smart group of medical professionals get together and commit to a technology designed to relieve your aching joints without surgery? It's called QC Kinetics.
And this guy knows the power of a solid team. Emmitt Smith, football legend and Dancing with the Stars champ.
This elite medical group, some of them orthopedic doctors, got together and said, why are we prescribing so many medications? Why are we sending so many people to surgery in droves? Let's change this.
The answer? Natural Biologics, our own healing properties. And the outcome is the country's largest provider of non-surgical regenerative treatments, QC Kinetics.
Actually, the real outcome are the tens of thousands of patients who finally got their quality of life back without surgery. Thanks to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
It's important to have a heating and cooling company you know you can depend on. That company is the original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling. They aren't one of those massive companies with newer techs and subcontractors. Oh no, Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling send only their own highly skilled techs. From service to installation and everything in between, the work quality and customer service is the best. For 40 years, the original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling has kept homeowners and business customers comfy and warm in the winter and nice and cool in the warmer months. Don't call the big guys, call the best. Call Carrie at 847-545-1700 or visit arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.net. That's Carrie at 847-545-1700 or online at arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.net. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, not the biggest, just the best.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel, home to the biggest shows on TV, like Hugh Hewitt weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, followed by Mike Gallagher at 9. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free, now on Xumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Xumo.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
When you're serious about your concealed carry training and education and are ready to learn from an active police officer with a teaching degree, check out Illinois Concealed Carry Training in Midlothian. You'll learn safe, responsible firearm use, home defense planning, conflict avoidance, situational awareness, and how to remain physically, morally, and financially safe in the event you must use your firearm in self-defense or the defense of another. Weekday and weekend classes available.
I'm Sergeant Gary Carr, police firearms trainer and the owner of Illinois Concealed Carry Training. We'll arm you with what really counts: knowledge and training. All concealed carry curriculums are not created equal. This may be the single most important decision you'll ever make for yourself and your loved ones. Choose between 3 and 16-hour classes that are available both weekdays and weekends. We are your one-stop for concealed carry classes, fingerprints, and legal defense plans.
Register for a class today and get 10% off class fees with promo code AM560. Visit IllinoisConcealedCarry.com. That's IllinoisConcealedCarry.com.
Protecting and growing your retirement assets can be complicated. From asset and legacy protection to retirement income and extended care, you need a plan. Mark Kohler, host of Retirement and Income Radio, heard Sundays at 11 a.m., helps retirees in or near retirement protect their accounts from market volatility. Mark can help you create lifetime guaranteed, inflation-hedged income. Call Mark today at 844-619-SAFE. That's 844-619-7233. And listen this Sunday at 11 a.m. to Retirement and Income Radio.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. President Trump had the border under control by the end of his first term, and Trump has promised to do so again quickly in a second term. President Biden, in the sharpest contrast to the campaign ahead, lost control of that border by simply abandoning the Trump policies. More than 9 million people have entered the country without permission in his first 3 years. That number, of course, does not include gotaways, the illegal immigrants who never, quote, encountered law enforcement. Add to this the death from the fentanyl streaming over our border with the illegal immigrants, and we see it all too clearly. The border is a mess, and it gets worse. Only 450 Chinese nationals were, quote, encountered at the border in 2021. By 2023, that number had swelled to, wait for it, over 24,000. We're looking at a national security issue of the first order. We need to get serious now.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So Nikki Haley came on right after we did yesterday to make it official. She stopped short of endorsing Trump and issued a challenge for him to woo her voters.
In all likelihood, Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee when our party convention meets in July. I congratulate him and wish him well. I wish anyone well who would be America's president. Our country is too precious to let our differences divide us. I have always been a conservative Republican and always supported the Republican nominee. But on this question, as she did on so many others, Margaret Thatcher provided some good advice when she said, quote, never just follow the crowd. Always make up your own mind. It is now up to Donald Trump to earn the votes of those in our party and beyond it who did not support him. And I hope he does that. At its best, politics is about bringing people into your cause, not turning them away. And our conservative cause badly needs more people. This is now his time for choosing. I end my campaign with the same words I began it, from the book of Joshua. I direct them to all Americans, but especially to so many of the women and girls out there who put their faith in our campaign. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for God will be with you wherever you go. In this campaign, I have seen our country's greatness. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, America. God bless you.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Boy, that's really throwing down the gauntlet. I mean, she is just a completely empty vessel.
Well,
she talks like I imagine the first iteration of AI would talk if it was in robotic form. It's just sort of one cliche, one platitude after another with sort of a halting stop to make sure you fully take in the wisdom of advice like don't follow the crowd. Wow.
I begin
Profound.
my campaign as I end it, reading from the book of Joshua. No, and the sad thing is I was a huge Nikki Haley supporter from the beginning. And then she turned into sort of like a Chris Christie in her rhetoric and her hate and toward Donald Trump.
I don't think Chris Christie. I think she's, in that. And I mean, I wasn't wowed by Nikki Haley. She was a mediocre governor of a conservative state. She could have been much better than she was. U.S. ambassador to the UN. I mean, you're a functionary. You're
well, at least you get to meet world leaders. I mean, it's not like she was.
Yawn. I mean, they're so impressive, aren't they? All these world leaders. Who's impressed?
312-642-5600. That's our phone line. Turnkey.pro answer line, don't you know? 64636. That's our text line. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
U.S. ambassador to the UN. So you mill about with other water boys and water girls for other regimes, mostly in places that we would never want to live, and somehow this is to greatly elevate your gravitas when it comes to international relations and geopolitics. It's just another fraud that they sell, and it really it's really illustrated by Nikki Haley's campaign. To me, she shrank in the moment. She became another stale candidate reciting trite phrases from a bygone era and playing cheap identity politics, which is on the other side of the field. As you just heard, the girls and the women, because, I'm a woman and I was once a girl.
Yeah, quoting Margaret Thatcher.
Quoting Margaret Thatcher. If you're going to quote Margaret Thatcher, at least pick something of import that she said. The idea that she is some sort of protege of Margaret Thatcher is laughable. But if you know anything about Margaret Thatcher's reign in England, but it just the whole thing was, had the depth of a cookie tray, which is how Nikki Haley presented herself to me. You're playing. I mean, this is one of the cardinal sins that conservatives can commit. Playing identity politics at this time. On the one hand, where there's this general recognition that identity politics is balkanizing, it is decivilizing, and it is a real threat to the republic. On the other hand, it's okay when I play it.
She did make history, Dan, as the first Republican woman to win a primary contest in D.C.
I know, and Caitlin
Vermont,
Clark is the all-time scorer in NCAA basketball history. Right. It could just... It's total silliness. The other thing, too, is the combination of vacuousness and hubris, which is a terrible combination. The idea that, she controls the people who voted for her. So now you got to come to me and to my people. They're not your people. They voted for you for a number of reasons. They didn't like Trump. They wanted to protest this. They want to protest that. You don't control them. If you say, thou shalt... They don't follow. I mean, some will, a small percentage, but you don't control those votes. The idea that any politician really controls his constituency. So few politicians have coattails because they can't really direct people who vote for them to do something else. It's like the people are making up their own minds in context, in the moment, with the circumstances. So, yeah, I know Trump has a loyal base and he can move people, and he's one of the rare exceptions. But it's still even much smaller than those who are voting for him. Many who vote for Trump, as they have the previous two times, will do so begrudgingly. And that still counts. But don't be under the delusion that these are your loyalists, and if you tell them to jump, they say how high. That's not how it works.
Well, who's going to come to who? Is Nikki Haley? Do you think we're going to see her in Mar-a-Lago in a few weeks with her thumbs up standing next to President Trump? Or does Trump have to come to her to earn the support of her voters?
Nobody has to come to anybody. This is like phony photo op stuff that the D.C. press corps dreams up to fill time. Nobody has to come to anybody. You want to come and endorse him? Fine. You don't? Fine. That couldn't matter less. Trump will make his appeal to the wider electorate, which includes Nikki Haley voters, the same way whether they have this moment of coming together or not.
So funny. What if her supporters now that she's out of the race? This is what I heard. Now that she's out of the race, I'm going to have to vote for Biden. Come on.
Right, whatever.
Yeah.
So there'll be some of that, but there's the cross currents. I mean, these anecdotes and these vignettes of a friend and somebody I saw interviewed on NBC News. They mean absolutely nothing. The only thing I would say is the one thing I do agree is it is incumbent on the victor to be the unifying force. It is incumbent on the victor to make the overtures they want to make or suffer the consequences. So if there's anybody who has to make appeals to individual principles or to core constituencies, it is Trump's responsibility. Bob in Paloma, Michigan.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. Now, you were talking to Steve Moore yesterday about shrinkflation.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't start under Biden. It started approximately 40 years or more ago because they've been stealing the product out of the chip bags and lunch meats and things like that for a very long time. And the other thing is about the polls.
Yeah.
They show President Trump with a slight lead over Biden. Unfortunately, Biden has about a 90-point advantage among the deceased and fictitious voters.
Thanks for the call, Bob. By the way, does Bob from Paloma, Michigan sound like Vincent Price, or is it me?
Yes, he does. I want to talk about 40-year-old shrinkflation, Dan.
I want to. Well, yeah, right. Talk to George Costanza about that. I wanted to. I should have had him say, "This is Thriller."
No one can escape the evil of the truth.
Yeah. Not bad.
Is that not bad?
It's not bad. Vince in Crete.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Is it just me, or does it Nikki Haley come off sounding like a mom reading her kids a fairy tale bedtime story whenever she talks to people?
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah,
Good.
it does have that feel. Yeah, that's good, Vince.
Cozy on in, everybody.
Yeah, right.
Everything's so nice and pleasant.
Yeah. I'm sure she reads Introducing Teddy, like the Kansas City mayor does. Dennis in Milwaukee.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. As always, you have sagacious insights, and
sagacious, good word.
There you go, calling out on Nikki Haley. The whole time, I thought she was an empty suit, and no new ideas, really lacking any leadership panache. Not exciting at all. I really think she realized her pathway to the nomination ended with the SCOTUS decision last week, because I really think the rich people supporting her, for the establishment Republicans that were out there, we're looking for, a hedged bet in case he did end up being disqualified on legal terms. But I think the reality is he's going to probably be exonerated or not pursued in most of this. We'll see how that plays out. But I really think she was a hedged bet, but an empty suit.
Thanks for the call, Dennis. And we're off to a hot start this morning. We had sagacious and panache in the same call. The opposite of sagacious and a person possessing panache is BLM Brandon. And you've resuscitated some ideas that were thrown out at the beginning of his administration on revenue sources. We'll want to pour over those so that they make sure they've got enough money in the coffers for the new Chicago Teachers Union contract. We'll do that at 5:38.
Now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Micah Scott.
5:32 on AM 560. The Answer, a chilly start to the day at 37 degrees. President Biden set to deliver his State of the Union address tonight.
With 3/4 of the country saying President Biden is too old to be commander-in-chief, Biden faces a real challenge: convince voters he's still up for the job. The Biden campaign releasing an outline of his speech, including taking swipes at Donald Trump. The memo says Trump would make it easier to buy a gun than access some birth control and reproductive care. Trump would cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Trump will increase tax cuts for big corporations and the super wealthy, making their tax rate lower than many working families. Now, a recent Fox News poll shows these are the top issues according to voters: the economy at 37%, immigration, and then abortion at 10%.
Among House Speaker Mike Johnson's guests at the speech will be NYPD officers seen fighting on video with a group of migrants in Times Square. You can hear the full address and the GOP response on AM 560 this evening. The first fatal attack by Yemen's Houthi rebels on shipping threatens to further sever a crucial maritime artery. 3 crew members were killed in the attack. The White House warns this morning there will be a response to the Wednesday attack. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey has signed a GOP proposed bill to protect in vitro fertilization into law.
81 ayes, 12 nays, 9 abstentions. SB 159 has passed.
Ivey signed that measure moments after it was passed, providing some criminal and civil immunity for death and damage to an embryo or any individual or entity providing or receiving IVF. Former President Trump is inviting Nikki Haley supporters to join his campaign for the White House. Trump posting online at the same time the former South Carolina governor was announcing she's suspending her campaign. Jurors convicted Rust movie armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed on Wednesday.
We find the defendant, Hannah Gutierrez, guilty.
The involuntary manslaughter charge in the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Hutchins was killed when a prop gun held by actor Alec Baldwin fired a live round. Baldwin also faces charges. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says he expects interest rates to begin their slow come down this year.
We believe that our policy rate is likely at its peak for this tightening cycle. If the economy evolves broadly as expected, it will likely be appropriate to begin dialing back policy restraint at some point this year.
The central bank leader adding policymakers still need to keep an eye on risk. Chicago's mansion tax is back on the ballot after an Illinois appellate court ruling yesterday. Mayor Brandon Johnson on the ruling.
I'm grateful that so many people have worked hard over the course of now the third administration, because this has been a long time coming for the people of Chicago.
An earlier Cook County decision blocked that measure from being on the ballot and paused the counting of votes on that measure was overturned. The referendum in question imposes a mansion tax that would change how real estate transfers are taxed. Transfer taxes on homes sold for less than $1 million may be reduced by 20%. Taxes on homes above $1 million increasing dramatically. Federal and local officials are laying out security plans ahead of the 2024 Democrat National Convention in Chicago in August. But will local police be enough? Mayor Brandon Johnson yesterday was asked if he'll call out the Illinois National Guard to protect the city.
The National Guard, that's under the jurisdiction of the governor of Illinois, right? So all I can say is what I am responsible for and how we are coordinating with every single level of government.
We're also following this morning news that a bus driver is dead and 2 children recovering from injuries after a school bus crash along DuSable Lakeshore Drive yesterday. Bulls beat the Utah Jazz 119-117 on the road. Blackhawks have a couple of days of rest ahead of their contest against the Capitals. March Madness starting tonight. Plenty of action as in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. UIC takes on Southern Illinois. Illinois State takes on Evansville. The news, a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency. Go to surroundchicago.com today. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
If you listen to the mainstream media and the Democrats, you'd think it was a sin to be black and conservative. Well, John Anthony blows up that perception every week on Black and Right. Join John this Saturday afternoon at 4 when he pushes back against the left and its regressive, progressive agenda that tries to dictate how people should think or feel about politics. Listen to Black and Right this Saturday afternoon at 4 right here on AM 560. The Answer.
For armed or unarmed security, average isn't good enough. You deserve more. You need more.
Morrison means more.
Morrison Security. More deterrence and prevention with customized programs that fit your budget. Cost-effective, sensible solutions for all businesses and facilities.
Morrison means more.
More peace of mind, knowing your security guards are well-trained professionals with a track record of getting results and serving exactly your needs. Morrison Security personnel are constantly trained for readiness and are prepared for any given situation that can occur at a job site.
Morrison means more.
More reliability of management
management for quick and effective solutions at your property. Morrison Security is responsive. They're always available to you.
Morrison means more.
More awareness of any challenges you face with protecting people, property, and assets. For armed and unarmed security, don't settle for substandard or average. Security is too important. Contact them and find out how you can get more. MorrisonSecurity.com. MorrisonSecurity.com.
Morrison means more.
In a big city like Chicago, we all know that there are challenges, especially for children. But behind the staggering statistics we often hear about, there are real kids who need support to overcome these barriers. That's what By the Hand Club for Kids is all about. By the Hand Club for Kids is a faith-based, nonprofit organization serving children in some of Chicago's most under-resourced neighborhoods, places like Austin, Englewood, Cabrini Green, and Oakdale Gardens. By the Hand Club for Kids runs after-school programs for children that nurture their minds, their bodies, and their souls. Right now, By the Hand Club for Kids is serving nearly 1,800 children, and we need your help. Your one-time gift of just $120 will provide a day of after-school programming for 2 children. Or you can become a club champion and give a monthly gift of just $40, which will provide for 8 children in the next year. Give that gift today by going to bythehand.org/radio. That's bythehand.org/radio.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Business owners, own a custom-designed building from General Steel. Call 866-95-STEEL. That's 866-957-8335.
It's 5:40. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Crosscom Public Adjusters. Crosscom will help you maximize your claim and get what you need. They've helped thousands. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com. Again, only one major problem. Army Trail Road in Bartlett shut down east and westbound between Smith and Gerber due to a major gas leak. It will remain shut down until after the morning rush to work. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. We'll have a bit of sun today through the midday, then clouds on the increase, high 51, leading to rain overnight and a low of 42. 37 right now. Your next news is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So Trump stays on the March 19th ballot in Illinois, and that would include Cook County. Sorry, Traffic Court Judge Tracy Porter.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And so does BLM Brandon's Bring Chicago Home ballot question.
I know.
Yeah, what a surprise.
Well, it was already on the ballot, then an appellate court judge said, no, take it off. Well, you can't take it off, but that the votes are not going to matter, but now the votes are going to matter again.
Right. As I said, what a surprise that ultimately it wasn't going to be knocked off the ballot. Do you want to allow the Chicago City Council to raise the tax when properties are valued above $1 million are sold, and lower for properties sold under the amount? That's basically the gist of it. Raise it above $1 million, lower it for properties sold under that amount. So properties, not just residential. I wonder what kind of impact that will have on the already a faltering commercial real estate market. I digress. It's going to fund homelessness prevention.
Right. Because all homeless people want homes, right? Yeah.
I'm on board. And that would definitely include our migrant friends. I certainly hope so. Don't you?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You could text us at 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. Mayor Johnson was excited. It's very he celebrated.
It's a different day for Chicago. That's a good thing.
Good thing, Dan.
Yeah, no, this is because it's a pathway not only to ending homelessness, and you think, oh, the homeless of Chicago. Well, the homeless who've come to Chicago too, that are living in migrant camps, for example. And don't they have a March 16th vacate date? Will that get extended again? I sure hope so. California moved legislation, and so you can expect this coming from the Illinois General Assembly. Just thought you should know, since we're talking about whether or not to vote for this Bring Chicago Home referendum. And I don't know about you, but if I could vote in Chicago again, I'd vote for it. Why not? It's what they want.
I'm thinking about voting for it.
What exactly?
I want to screw my liberal neighbors over.
What do you mean? Screw this is a no.
Live in the mansions.
I'm giving you an opportunity to cure homelessness. I'm supporting your efforts in Lakeview, the Lakeview owners of said mansions, to end homelessness. You're welcome.
Be better. Step up. Now's your time to do something for the community. Pay more taxes.
There's a program for first-time homeowners, home buyers, in the state of California that was animated by state legislation. Zero interest, zero monthly payment mortgages equal to 20% of a home or condo's value, and you only have to pay off the loan when the house is sold or refinanced. Well, zero interest, zero monthly payment equal to zero monthly payment mortgages equal to 20% of the home or condo's value. You only have to pay off the loan when the house is sold or refinanced, and you only have to pay up to 20% of the profit. If the 20% of the increase in purchase price when you sell back to this program.
Okay.
The loans don't accrue interest, don't require monthly payments. Again, when the mortgage is refinanced or the house is sold again, the borrower pays back the original amount of the loan plus 20% of the increase in the home's value. That's the program. And what the State Assembly in California is on the cusp of doing is extending that to people in the country illegally. And so I would think, we do something like that here for first-time home buyers, because that's certainly one way to end homelessness, is subsidize people to buy homes. And, we have to welcome the newcomers and include them in any sort of program like this, too. So, I just see this as a gateway to mirroring California, which, we're wont to do here in the Midwest because we want to maintain our status as a thoughtful, cosmopolitan, welcoming city and state, don't we?
Well, don't forget about the CTU. According to their new list of demands, they want revenues from Bring Chicago Home real estate tax hike for housing assistance for CTU members.
Well, yeah, as I said, so everybody. So that's my point.
Well, they don't want to be, overshadowed by migrants.
No, we don't overshadow. We include.
Oh.
We're being inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to update your glossary of terms and use the proper nomenclature before you get in trouble. So, yeah, this would certainly it wouldn't be limiting. No, it would be including. We're broadening it.
Well, who else should we put on the list? So we've got homeless. That's what it's for originally. Then the migrants because they're homeless. And then CTU teachers and CTU employees that are homeless. I don't know what kind of a big population that is, but I'm sure there are some. So we got to house them.
Well, I basically say anybody making less than $100,000 a year. Anybody with household income less than $100,000 a year, that should all be underwritten by those making $100,000 a year. And look, I'm not smart enough to come up with this, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm deferring to the public policy leadership that has been selected by the residents of Chicago and the residents of the state of Illinois, for that matter. Brandon Johnson, right, the $100,000 threshold, remember that? Well, that's back. The $100,000 to impose a city income tax. Freshman Alderhuman William Hall is BLM branded's point man or point human on this project of looking for new revenue, not just the Bring Chicago Home referendum. That's a great start, but we're going to need some more. So video gaming. We don't have that in Chicago yet. Why not?
Oh, why have gambling here? So why not video gaming?
Exactly.
Like they do in the suburbs.
Expanded helicopter service to and from O'Hare and Midway. Turning vacant downtown real estate space into digital advertising space. Yeah.
Can I do my chopper impersonation? Did you get it?
Yeah, it's a great little Letterman bit you do there.
Did he do that? I thought I made that up.
Yeah. So I mean, there's billions. Carl Sagan saw billions and billions of stars. BLM Brandon sees billions and billions of dollars that are not on the table that should be.
What about legalizing prostitution then?
Sure.
Since there's already a bunch of hoes walking around, you know.
Well,
make
let me
some
tell
money
you,
shaking your money maker, honey.
Well, let me let you crawl inside the mind of Alderhuman William Hall to give you a sense of the moral case to be made for all of these things that you're describing and I'm describing. Billionaires and millionaires are not even paying taxes, says Mr. Hall. It makes no sense that a mother who's making $45,000 to $50,000 a year working 2 jobs, robbing Peter to pay Paul. What does Peter have to say about that? Hoping that an iPad would keep her kids occupied, is paying more taxes than, Ken Griffin and company. Well, actually, they left.
He's not paying taxes to you.
We have to make sure there's a fair distribution of taxes, period, said Hall. Period, full stop. Fair tax rate that is not at all fair right now because, meaning we don't have a city income tax. So that's not fair because millionaires and billionaires know how to work a tax code while those who are working day to day do not. The middle class is a trick to keep you occupied. Either you got it or you don't got it. Give me that. And when I look at my community where the average income is $47,652 and they're paying higher taxes than a millionaire and billionaire, that is not right. He was asked also about a wealth tax on stock holdings. Absolutely. Not just the city income tax for more than $100,000. Wealth tax on stock holdings is something they'd like to look at, and liquid assets that he claims are passing wealth into trust funds. Oh, my goodness. Could you imagine? Right. These trust fund babies that are getting away with squirreling away resources and offshore accounts. I mean, enough about J.B. Pritzker.
None of his business. Yeah.
No, exactly. No, I don't want to bring J.B. Pritzker into this because I'm sure Bill Hall doesn't want to either. Maybe taxing the trust funds of statewide elected officials in the Cayman Islands. I don't know. Trust fund babies, says William Hall.
Bahamas, yes.
Trust fund babies get away with not paying their fair share, but using services to increase their lifestyle, and that's not fair. We need tax parity, tax equity. And, Jelly Belly Pritzker, I'm sure, would volunteer to be the change that Bill Hall wishes to see. Won't you? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Time to face reality. The retail model has changed, said Bill Hall. Bill Hall has a lot to say, if he doesn't mind me calling him Bill. The shuttered stores aren't coming back. I'm glad he's conceding the retail decimation of Mag Mile. They're not coming back. They're empty spaces that could make money for Chicago, just like New York City is making millions of dollars in digital marketing in Times Square. There you go. That is the vision.
Mag Mile into that. A big billboard. Yep.
Turn Bullmish into Times Square. Big, gaudy digital billboards that put money into the coffers at City Hall. And you say there's no good ideas being bandied about.
Text message, Dan and Amy, the program will do for homelessness what the Illinois State Lottery has done for Illinois schools.
Yeah, exactly. Solve the funding problem. Exactly. And then remember, after we instituted the lottery, we've never talked about school funding since?
No.
Nobody's ever clamored for an increase in school funding because we solved it with the lottery.
And the toll roads were supposed to go away, I do recall.
Now we're solving homelessness with the surcharge on $1 million properties, and we're going to solve all kinds of other societal ills with making the Mag Mile Times Square and introducing a city income tax on people making more than $100K and taxing people's stock holdings and other liquid assets and I mean, all kinds of stuff we can do. Video gaming and prostitution and taxing helicopter rides between O'Hare and Midway and so
Is that
forth.
really needed?
Needed?
I mean, the helicopter, but maybe from O'Hare to downtown like they do in, South America, like Brazil. That's how you can get from the top of your hotel to the airport so you don't sit in the car for 3 hours.
He talked about video gaming, too, did Alder Human Hall in this wide-ranging conversation. Boy, I mean, he really had a lot to get off his chest, and I appreciate it. Talking about video gaming, absolutely be part of the revenue mix because most neighborhood bars want it, and their patrons do. Well, the bar owners particularly do because they can, that's a nice income flow. Yeah. Anyway, he says this. When you look at neighboring suburbs like Cicero and Burbank, they have those. Yeah, so does exactly. Don't you want downtown to look more like Cicero and Burbank? What a great idea.
Video gaming's everywhere in the suburbs. I'm like, why is that old lady still sitting there? And then days later, like, that old lady's still sitting there. Oh, it's video gaming. I didn't even know they had it. Now it's everywhere.
Someday, Mag Mile will be referred to as Cicero on the Lake. That'll be a happy day.
Burbank Boulevard. Hey.
Right?
Yeah.
That's an upgrade. Have you driven down Cermak lately?
They could put, you know what? Water Tower Place could just be one big video gaming hall. Because there's nothing else.
/ migrant center / brothel.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it could be multi-purpose.
There you go. And then you'll have the American Girl doll store down to the right.
Think big.
There. Yeah.
You got to think big. The American Girl store / massage parlor. Right?
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Right across the street from the.
For what?
Well, we're right down the street, maybe, from the abortion clinic inside Holy Name Cathedral. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, the revenue. We got to start thinking a little bit more creatively about the revenue. And I'm just happy that BLM Brandon and Stacey Davis Gates this week have really reopened and re-energize this conversation in advance of the March 19th primary election so people make the right choice about Bring Chicago Home and so much else that is in the offing. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
You are a creator. You've been inspired to design and craft incredible works of art. But nothing derails you like not having the right materials you need to get the project done. K&S Precision Metals prides itself on having the right metal pieces for you to be a maker. With a huge array of metal products for every part of your project, from beginning design to the finished product, K&S Precision Metals provides brass, aluminum, copper, stainless steel tubing, wire, and more. K&S Precision Metals only supplies the highest quality metal items. Each piece is pure metal with no lead or fillers. You can feel good that your project is made with metal manufactured right here in the USA. K&S Precision Metals are used by the medical and movie industries, artists, crafters, engineers, and educators. Family owned and operated in Chicago for over 76 years. Most orders are shipped within a day. Order direct at ksmetals.com. That's ksmetals.com. K&S Precision Metals. Our materials, your creations.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
You know what? I actually am starting to feel better every day. Every day a little better.
I've been with you all a while now. I swear by it. Yeah, I love it. I bought a lot of stuff that didn't work before, but they do help me a lot. I tell everybody about it. I tell all my friends. I swear by it.
I've been taking it for years. I am 65, and the stuff that I'm able to do it amazes people that are in their 40s.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk a little bit about border security and migrants. Also, a big event coming up in Evanston, or actually Skokie. It's located in Skokie, the restaurant where the event will be held. I want to tell you about it because you're going to want to attend. Big event in Skokie to support the migrants, 606.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
A mansion tax referendum back on the ballot officially, and a lawsuit accuses a former CTA employee in a man's death. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
President Biden will go prime time. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, delivering the State of the Union address tonight.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says.
The President's going to lay out what he has done the last 3 years, the successes that he's had, historic successes that he's had.
He'll focus on bipartisan achievements like infrastructure and computer chip manufacturing, as well as Democratic initiatives like bringing down Medicare drug prices. And he'll call on Congress to fund Ukraine aid and bring up a border and immigration deal. But with millions of Americans tuning in, the president will also face concerns about his age and fitness.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Republicans in Congress may not cheer the president much tonight. House Speaker Mike Johnson says,
if you had to describe in one word what you believe the State of the Union is, you've heard the word crisis, you've heard catastrophe. I think maybe a summary is decline.
Senator Katie Britt will deliver the Republican response tonight. She's from Alabama, where there's a lot of controversy. The state Supreme Court ruled frozen embryos have the same rights as children, prompting some IVF clinics to pause in vitro fertilization services. Well, last night, Republican Governor Kay Ivey signed a new law giving patients and clinics new legal liability protection.
She says from protecting the unborn to supporting IVF, Alabama is proud we are a pro-life, pro-family state.
Lacey Beasley with Fox 10 TV in Mobile. After months of attacks on ships in and around the Red Sea, the first deadly one for Iran-backed Houthi militants.
As well as 3 deaths, 2 crew members were seriously hurt in the attack. The rest of the crew of 20 has been taken to Djibouti by the Indian Navy. The company that owns the dry bulk carrier, the True Confidence, says the ship is now drifting away from land.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. In Ukraine, Russia bombed the city Odessa, right near President Volodymyr Zelensky and Greece's prime minister was there on a visit. They were not hurt, but 5 others were killed. America's listening to Fox News.
37 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 2 juveniles are facing charges today after video of an assault at a West Suburban high school has surfaced. The morning of February 28th, a student at Wheaton Warrenville South High School was brutally beaten inside of a school bathroom. Later that day, one student involved was ID'd by a school resource officer, and another student then gave up cell phone footage to police. Now the 2 teens who are charged with aggravated battery are due in juvenile court. Chicago's mansion tax is back on the ballot.
I'm grateful that so many people have worked hard over the course of now the 3rd administration. because this has been a long time coming for the people of Chicago.
Mayor Brandon Johnson on the ruling. Earlier, a Cook County court decision blocked the measure from being on the ballot and paused the counting of votes until the measure was overturned. Federal and local officials laying out security plans ahead of the 2024 Democrat National Convention in Chicago, while the Secret Service, as usual, will handle security measures inside the United Center. Chicago police are receiving specialized training and will handle security outside.
We're training our officers for these large-scale protests, understanding the First Amendment, constitutional policing. Every single thing that we're doing right now is rooted in constitutional policing.
The DNC set for mid-August at the United Center. The family of a homeless man is suing a former CTA employee accused in his death. The suit was filed this week, claiming Emmett Richardson abused 54-year-old Kevin Powell for nearly an hour at the LaSalle Street Blue Line stop in March last year.
I wish you all could have gotten to know him. He would have helped anybody that was in need. We just want justice for my brother. Sister Rochelle Powell, Richardson is charged with first-degree murder and told police Powell overdosed. He had been reprimanded by the CTA over hostile acts against customers in the past. Chicago sports, well, the Bulls and Jazz brawled in the final seconds, but DeMar DeRozan came through clutch, hitting some free throws, and the Bulls beat the Jazz 119-117 at the Delta Center. Bulls visit the Warriors later on tonight, while in the Big Ten, Northwestern was lifeless in the second half of their 53-49 loss to Michigan State at the Breslin Center. The news, a service of In Grace with Pastor Jim Scudder Jr., now heard on Sunday morning at 6:30 right here on AM 560. And a check of traffic and weather's on the way next on AM 560.
Women's sports are under attack in America by those with a radical agenda that seeks to erase the differences between men and women in classrooms, on playing fields, and in locker rooms. No one knows this better than All-American swimmer Riley Gaines. See Riley Gaines live in Chicagoland on Friday, March 22nd, presented by Breakthrough Ideas and the Parents Matter Coalition. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/tickets. That's 560theanswer.com/tickets. Sponsored by Blue Star Security.
Federal authorities are spying on conservatives. They were just exposed for pressuring banks to look for transactions with keywords like MAGA, Trump, and Bible. This is not the America I know. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I am deeply concerned about the tyranny I see in Washington. And this is why I'm thankful for physical gold IRAs, because they offer tangible financial security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. To find out more, text the word PROTECT to 989898. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. This is your chance to secure your IRA or your 401k against the unpredictable nature of our economy. Text PROTECT to the number 989898 now to request your free info kit on gold IRAs. That's PROTECT to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I've been a clinical psychologist since 1991. I was licensed, and I love being a clinical psychologist because I like helping people. I tell people that Balance of Nature is a wonderful supplement because I truly trust in the product. I feel great, and because I feel great, I'm able to do everything that I want to do. I really love taking Balance of Nature.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
.607, let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Stevenson inbound already getting heavy. Central to Kenzie, 30 minutes in from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. In Bartlett, You have Army Trail Road closed both directions, east and west, between Smith and Gerber due to a major gas leak. That road is not expected to reopen until sometime after the morning rush to work. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast with Rose Tamburino.
We'll have some sunshine as we start the day today, but clouds will be increasing. The high today 51. Periods of rain toward dawn tonight, otherwise cloudy with a low 42. And then occasional rain tomorrow with a high of 50. I'm Rose Tamburino on AM 560. The Answer.
37 and partly cloudy at O'Hare. Your next news update, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So on Super Tuesday, the evening of, as the results were pouring in, the gals and Chris Hayes over at MSNBC had a good old time laughing it up over these rubes in places like Virginia who are worried about immigration. Here's Jen Psaki and Rachel Maddow,
So funny.
Well, I mean,
yucking it up.
It's just,
how could they care about border issues? Oh my God, they're nowhere near the border.
the little people are endlessly entertaining.
I mean, if you look at some of these exit polls, I mean, I live in Virginia. Immigration was the #1 issue. I mean, again, these could change in Virginia.
Well, Virginia does have a border with West Virginia. Very contested area. Build a wall.
Like, what?
I think Rachel Maddow needs a lozenge. Her voice is getting deeper. Or maybe pull back on the testosterone a bit.
I mean, this is all a big joke to them. Because Laken Riley, I mean, she deserved to live, didn't she? But her life was snubbed out by an illegal who came in under Joe Biden. Somebody that Joe Biden let into this country.
You're making too much of a thing about it. This is why you have to have cooler heads step in and prevail upon the good senses of the American people, and the importance of, as we talked a bit about with respect to the Beal and Brandon agenda, welcoming the newcomers. Joni Ernst in the Senate, she tried to push a floor vote yesterday on a law that would require illegal immigrants who commit violent crimes to be detained by ICE.
Not a big ask.
That doesn't really square with being a welcoming city, county, state like Chicago, Cook, Illinois. So you had to have our very own Sack of Durbin, the senior senator, object to the request and thwart the floor vote on requiring people in this country illegally who commit violent crimes to be detained by ICE. I mean, that's othering. That's not who we are. That doesn't reflect Illinois values. And Dick Durbin was having none of it. And I'm sure since we elected him, we would all agree. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. The legislation that Joni Ernst filed was called the Sarah Root Law, referencing the death of an Iowa woman who was killed by a drunk driver who then fled the country because he wasn't turned over to ICE. Yeah. Over on the House side, they're trying to move the Laken Riley Act. House Speaker Mike Johnson was on Fox yesterday to talk about that. Very similar things now, these legislative measures that are nice to advance because here's something to consider that's in written form. So, is Congress doing anything? Well, some members of Congress are advancing legislation that would involve the federal government in enforcing immigration law and compel them to remove people in this country illegally who commit violent crimes. It's not going anywhere. But, hey, they're conversation pieces at least.
Well, it's so important because we got to ensure that this can't happen again. Republicans will not stand for the release of dangerous criminals into our communities, and that's exactly what the Biden administration has done. Laken is just one of the tragic examples of innocent American citizens who have lost their lives, been brutally and violently attacked by illegal criminals who are roaming our streets because they've allowed them in. So the Laken-Riley Act, what it will do is ensure that ICE has to arrest and detain criminals who are aliens in the country, and that we'll deport them back to where they came from. And we're also going to allow the states to sue the federal government for its refusal to enforce federal law. We're doing everything we can as House Republicans and Republicans in Congress to enforce upholding the rule of law and sanity, frankly, about this policy. We have got to secure that border, and the president has the authority right now to do it, John, and he won't. And we're going to be highlighting that here all day tomorrow during the State of the Union and all those festivities.
Yeah, well, that's not going anywhere in Chuck Schumer's Senate, of course, and certainly wouldn't go anywhere if it got to Joe Biden's desk.
Well, and then we learned yesterday that the monster who killed Laken Riley, the illegal, his brother, because he's been in trouble with the law too. Yeah, he's a member of that same Venezuelan street gang, the same gang that beat up those NYPD cops in Times Square, the same gang that was stealing everybody's cell phones while they were driving around on mopeds, the Tren de Aragua gang. Yeah. There's pictures of him waving a gun around. Real good people. Yeah, they're bringing their finest. And in Chicago, 4 illegals who have been here less than 3 months beat up and almost choked to death, a 49-year-old Cicero man on the Pink Line. It happened Saturday right before 5 o'clock. And this graphic video, it's not going to come out, but the details were revealed in court yesterday. They lured this man back. One guy grabbed him and started strangling him. He soiled himself and then passed out. And then they grab his money from his pocket, his phone, kick him a little bit, and walk away. And they shouldn't have been out in the first place because they've already been arrested a few times for retail theft. Meet your new neighbors. There's a great picture of them on CWB there. Fine-looking gentlemen.
Well, they shouldn't have been arrested for retail theft. That's not particularly welcoming. That's not who we are in Chicago and Cook County. So I can understand why that was sort of swept aside, because retail theft is a victimless crime.
Well, it starts out as retail theft.
Usually it is moms stealing diapers for their kids, trying to get food to eat just to survive. So there's usually something that is redeeming about it. They're just struggling people who otherwise wouldn't have to resort to stealing if it weren't for our white patriarchal society.
3 of the 4 were on pretrial release for pending case, and one was so savvy, Dan, that when he would steal from Saks Fifth Avenue or off Saks Fifth, it's the like Nordstrom rack. He had this blue lined bag so that they wouldn't the motion detectors, the tags on the clothes wouldn't be censored while he was walking out the door.
Well, I'm super impressed. I couldn't care less. Speaking of Virginia, by the way, since they were laughing it up on the MSNBC set, we mentioned there was a illegal immigrant who raped a 14-year-old last week, and he was taken into custody. So I guess that's what has some families a little bit jumpy. And this happens everywhere it's tried. I mean, this is the same thing we see in America's big cities.
5 people die a day from fentanyl in Virginia, but it's funny. I mean, this is fun stuff, huh?
So what we see everywhere in big cities in America, as we've said many times, change out Kim Foxx for Larry Krasner, put her in Philadelphia and Larry Krasner here, you'll have the same thing. Change out mayors, Chicago for Philadelphia, for San Francisco, for New Orleans, for Baltimore, for Memphis. You'll have the same thing. Everything would be exactly the same. It's policy. 14-year-old schoolgirl was found dead in an apartment in Vienna. Girl was drugged and raped. Her killer is a 26-year-old Afghan migrant who claimed asylum back in 2015. His first application was rejected by Austrian officials, but courts granted him subsidiary protection on appeal, allowing him to roam freely. His protection from deportation was extended twice following the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan, right, asylum seeker, and never revisited. So he was there illegally, but essentially with sanction of the state, which is the same thing we have in America, for 9 years, and now a 14-year-old girl is dead after she was drugged and raped. Anywhere you pursue these policies, the result is the same. It does not know geography.
I just that comment they made and them laughing, they're completely out of touch with Americans. And it reminds me, remember when Cuomo and Don Lemon used to say, well, New York is fine, it's safe. I had a wonderful dinner last night in Manhattan.
Keep laughing it up. Well, and Jen Psaki lives in Virginia, and so everything she sees where she lives is fine. Okay, well, then everything's fine.
Just keep sitting up on your high horse there, ladies.
San Francisco residents are pressing back a little bit, shockingly. Talk about, after getting mugged by reality for long enough, literally. Two propositions passed by voters of San Francisco on Tuesday. One gives police more powers to fight crime, pursue suspects, allows drones for catching criminals, face recognition, that sort of thing. The other will require single adults on city welfare to be screened for drug use.
Well, they were like all for defunding police. Now they need the police. And the San Francisco Chronicle declared that, Dan, the city can no longer be called progressive. So if they said it, San Francisco's not progressive anymore because of those two measures that passed.
Yeah, well,
I'm just letting you know. The labeling continues.
These are the consequences of failing to cling to this mindless, destructive ideology, I suppose. But, I guess they're willing to endure the hypocrisy and the slings and arrows of the San Francisco Chronicle to protect themselves a little bit, which seems like a pretty reasoned trade-off. Something else I want to give people an opportunity to participate in. This is sort of like from the same North Shore set. It's not the exact same group, but the same mindset, right? Take the North Shore set in Wilmette or Evanston and put them in Highland Park or Glencoe or Hinsdale or Naperville or Downers Grove or Glen Ellen. It's the same thing. It's the same people. You get the same thing. There's an opportunity, and you're not going to want to miss it. Bienvenidos a casa.
I love when you speak Spanish.
An evening in support of our nuevos vecinos. Join us for a traditional Venezuelan dinner from La Cochinita restaurant. And that's not all.
Okay.
There'll be live music, unique raffle prizes, silent auction, as we raise money to support migrant families in easing their transition to our area. The continuation of a highly successful creative community housing solution for newcomer families in Rogers Park, as administered by Nuevos Vecinos Community and Free Store, as well as our continuing efforts to coordinate our response to the crisis on the North Side and in the North Shore. It is cocktail attire.
Oh, okay. I'll start planning my outfit now.
It's the North Shore. Skokie, but it's not really.
All right, easy. Our parents grew up there.
Well, I know, but it's not.
Well, I know it's not highbrow. It's
Sketch. It's too
awesome.
Middle income. Yeah, that's the hoi polloi compared to, Wilmette, Winnetka, Glencoe, Highland Park. Sketchbook Brewing Company in Skokie is the host of this event. Also asked to bring new hygiene products, not used, new hygiene products, new underwear, newer used jogger sweatpants, newer used backpacks, strollers, and suitcase, newer used knives and guns. Oh, no, I added that.
That's
not the knives and guns piece.
Yeah, that's it. They're having fundraisers like that all over CPS.
Live music from a teen rock band of newcomer students, as seen on WBEZ, so you know they're hip.
Do they have an agent yet? I'm sure they do.
Bienvenidos a casa. Jim and LaGrange on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh my gosh, what insanity. Speaking of insanity, think about having to make a law to enforce the law.
Right.
Does that just speak to like craziness and decline?
Yep.
So is this like being put on double secret probation, Dan? I don't know. Have a great day.
Thanks for the call. Right. We need laws to trigger enforcement of the laws that are supposed to trigger enforcement. Right. Yes. Joe in Naperville.
Yeah, that MSNBC group reminds me of the smugness of Marie Antoinette, the one that said, let them eat cake. And it really didn't end well for her, did it?
No, it did not. Thanks for the call, Joe.
It's just funny because, President Biden says he needs millions to combat the problem at the border, but those ladies on MSNBC seem to think there is no problem at the border.
Well,
they're not even listening to their boss Biden.
Nothing that can't be solved by Benvito's a Casa events in rich suburbs. Help resettle our new neighbors. Joe in Hoffman Estates.
Hey, good morning. Fox News should actually have the O'Reilly family on, play the clip of what they were laughing about at MSNBC, and then get their reaction. I think it would be a death blow to MSNBC, and a lot of people would see what the heck insanity is going on over there.
Well, I'm sure somebody in her circle was watching. I mean, she had 1,000 people at her funeral on Friday, so the chance of one of those people that knows her saw that, speak up. And shame on those other people on the set who didn't say something at the time. Well, Jen and Rachel Maddow are laughing.
I saw
the other three bimbos are sitting there. They didn't do a damn thing. Well, somebody says that.
What are they supposed to do? They're in agreement. Yeah. Oh, right. I forgot. They're in agreement. They're sharing a brain. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Representative Mike Collins from Georgia invited, actually, Lake and Riley's parents to the State of the Union address. They declined for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I understand.
But he's going to keep a seat empty. He's sort of making a visual of an empty seat to represent the victims of people who've entered this country illegally.
Good for him.
Yeah. Well, so again, just to repeat, if people didn't have a chance to scroll this down, that's Saturday, March 30th, 5 to 9 p.m., Sketchbook Brewing Company in Skokie. They've got an Eventbrite page set up. We've got an exciting night to raise money to resettle people who've entered this country illegally. La Cocinita is providing the Venezuelan dinner at the Sketchbook Brewery.
For free.
You've got basically the 2024 version of Menudo, it sounds like, so that's going to be exciting. Raffle prizes, silent auction items to support migrant families easing their transition to our area. So that's the mentality you're dealing with. That's not going to be a group that would be paying much attention to the effort to pass Sarah's law in the Senate or Lake and Riley's law in the House. No.
Got a text message. Do you think the family of Molly Tibbetts in Iowa is laughing about the border crisis?
No, it's not. It's not particularly funny. It's not particularly funny, but don't tell us that, and don't even bother telling the politicians that. But depending on the side, they're locked in. Maybe tell some of your Bienvenidos a Casa friends where you live that. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When you're serious about your concealed carry training and education and are ready to learn from an active police officer with a teaching degree, check out Illinois Concealed Carry Training in Midlothian. You'll learn safe, responsible firearm use, home defense planning, conflict avoidance, situational awareness, and how to remain physically, morally, and financially safe in the event you must use your firearm in self-defense or the defense of another. Weekday and weekend classes available.
I'm Sergeant Gary Carr, police firearms trainer and the owner of Illinois Concealed Carry Training. We'll arm you with what really counts, knowledge and training. All concealed carry curriculums are not created equal. This may be the single most important decision you'll ever make for yourself and your loved ones. Choose between 3 and 16-hour classes that are available both weekdays and weekends. We are your one-stop for concealed carry classes, fingerprints, and legal defense plans.
Register for a class today and get 10% off class fees with promo code AM560. Visit IllinoisConcealedCarry.com. That's IllinoisConcealedCarry.com.
All right. It rained the other day. How did your basement do? Some people I know had some minor flooding in their basement with that deluge of rainfall. But if you're having that problem, the best time to call Permaseal is in between storms. The number to call is 800-421-SEAL, 800-421-7325. They believe your home should be healthy. And when it rains a lot, you can get mold and mildew in your basement and in your crawl space, and that's not good. How's your sump pump and your backup sump pump system? Permaseal can also help with that. And they also can help with your attic. They're thrilled to announce their latest innovation in home comfort is their attic insulation service. Technicians come to your house and they do the blower door test, and they use digital imaging cameras so that they can get right to the source. Really the best in the business. Call Permaseal today to schedule your free consultation. 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net. Listen up. Do you or a family member or friend have an outstanding student loan and don't know where to turn or how much you're required to pay? The rules around student loan forgiveness have never been as complex as they are right now. The wrong decision could cost you and your family tens of thousands of dollars in unnecessary loan payments. Attorney Ray Kaplan at Kaplan Law Firm is here to help you make the right decision. And they recently saved a radio listener over $145,000. Kaplan Law knows the rules, knows the laws, knows the regulations and loopholes inside out. Don't pay another cent until you've consulted with attorney Ray Kaplan. Call today to schedule a phone or in-person consultation. Call Kaplan Law Firm at 312-294-8989. That's 312-294-8989. Or visit financialrelief.com and click on Contact. Financialrelief.com, click on Contact. Kaplan Law Firm, 25 East Washington Street in Chicago.
Imagine what your future looks like. Is the picture a little blurry? Hey, it's Sean Thompson here for Alpha Wealth Group. When we look ahead, we're visualizing where we want to be, and for retirement, that can be hard without a written financial plan. Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group can help you bring your retirement picture into focus. For decades, Tom has been crafting customized financial strategies. His goal is to help you protect your savings, grow your wealth, and create an income strategy you cannot outlive. If you're nearing or already in retirement, it's time to get your plan on paper. So bring your readers and let's take a look at it closely. Call Tom at 630-934-1855 and schedule a complimentary retirement consultation. There is no cost. There is no obligation. This is a chance to get a clearer view of your retirement. The number again is 630-934-1855 or visit alphawealthgroup.com. And listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour Saturday mornings right here on AM 560 The Answer.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
AM 560 The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You've heard Mike Scott reporting on it. This beatdown at Wheaton-Warrenville South High School. We'll discuss it, what we know, and of course for our listeners out in that school district 200, Wheaton-Warrenville South, what you know, we'd be happy to hear from you as well. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line at 636.
But first, we got to stop by that newsroom and say hello once again to Mike Scott.
37 degrees at 631. Alabama lawmakers protecting in vitro fertilization patients and clinics in spite of a recent Supreme Court ruling. Certain IVF functions were shut down in the state last month when the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that frozen embryos should be considered human beings. Republican Kay Ivey, the governor, signing a bill that protects providers and patients from some legal liability. President Biden will deliver his State of the Union address tonight, where he'll play up things like the work his administration has done on infrastructure. He'll also push other policies that could pick up support from both sides of the aisle, like fighting cancer. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson.
President Biden faces a big challenge. U.S. history can keep going. 75% of the country thinks he's too old for the job. According to a recent Fox News poll, these are the top issues for voters in 2024: the economy, immigration, and abortion. Tonight will likely be one of President Biden's largest audiences this year. Ukraine's First Lady declined an invitation. The shortest State of the Union address by a modern president was Richard Nixon back in 1972, just 29 minutes. House Speaker Mike Johnson inviting the police officers attacked in Times Square recently by a migrant mob.
The parents of detained Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich will attend that address. You can hear the entire address and the GOP response on AM 560 this evening. The House of Representatives passing a package of spending bills.
The government is one step closer to averting a partial shutdown. The House passing a $460 billion spending bill package Wednesday. It would keep the government running for the rest of the budget year. The House vote caps months of heated negotiations, but the Senate must also act on the legislation. They don't have much time since there's a deadline at midnight on Friday.
The package passing the House on a vote of 339 to 85. 2 juveniles are facing charges today after video of an assault at a West Suburban high school has surfaced. The morning of February 28th, a student at Wheaton-Warrenville South High School was brutally beaten inside a school bathroom. Now the 2 teens who are charged with aggravated battery are due in juvenile court. St. Francis of Rome School in Cicero has been saved from closure this summer after donors came forward to keep the school open. The Archdiocese of Chicago announcing late yesterday that St. Francis will stay open for at least the next 5 years after groups like Big Shoulders and other individuals pledge hundreds of thousands of dollars, though the exact figure will depend on enrollment per year. St. Odilo in Berwyn also is shutting down at the end of the school year, and even though St. Francis is saved, St. Odilo is still projected to close. DeMar DeRozan came through with 29 points. Bulls beat Utah 119-117 last night. Northwestern lost to Michigan State at the Breslin Center 53-49 last night. Loyola beat Davidson in the A-10 69-59. The news, a service of Crosscom Public Adjusters. They've helped thousands. If your home or business has an insurance claim, Crosscom will help you get what you need. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Women's sports are under attack in America by those with a radical agenda that seeks to erase the differences between men and women in classrooms, on playing fields, and in locker rooms. No one knows this better than All-American swimmer Riley Gaines. See Riley Gaines live in Chicagoland on Friday, March 22nd, presented by Breakthrough Ideas and the Parents Matter Coalition. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/tickets. That's 560theanswer.com/tickets. Sponsored by Opum Tax Advocates and attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
You know what? I actually am starting to feel better every day. Every day a little better.
I've been with you all a while now. I swear by it. Yeah, I love it. I bought a lot of stuff that didn't work before, but they do help me a lot. I tell everybody about it. I tell all my friends. I swear by it.
I've been taking it for years. I am 65, and the stuff that I'm able to do it amazes people that are in their 40s.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
In search of the perfect cut for your lawn? Join the pursuit by choosing from a full line of Steel mowers. From gas and battery options to zero turns and push mowers, Steel offers a wide range of mowing solutions for homeowners and professionals. Right now, get 0% financing on your purchase with a Steel zero-turn mower. Real Steel. Find yours at steelusa.com/mowers. Available at select dealers. Financing available on qualifying purchases and subject to credit approval. See dealer for details.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RADIO for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code RADIO.
6:38 Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Batteries Plus, offering a wide array of battery and lighting solutions, along with key fob programming and expert phone repair. Batteries Plus team of experts is here to help bring your power to life. Kennedy stop and go inbound from I-190 near O'Hare out to Nagel this morning. Stevenson inbound stop and go 1st Avenue to Kedzie. Accident on the Dan Ryan with a right lane block inbound right at 47th. And in Bartlett, Army Trail east and westbound between Smith and Gerber remains closed until after the morning rush due to a major gas main leak. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Some sun this morning, then clouds on the increase, a high of 51. Now 37. Your next news update at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. America First with Sebastian Gorka, weekday afternoons at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So, Wheaton-Warrenville High School, Wheaton-Warrenville South, there was a fight in the bathroom that was videoed. This happened last week. You've heard Mike Scott reporting on it this morning. But the video came out after the weekend and after initial punishment was meted out by the school administration. And, of course, because one of the people doing the beating in the bathroom video is black and the person getting beaten is white, we've got a racial component, and so now people are getting stupid.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. I just want you to hear a little bit of the melee and what's happening. Kicking him in the head, chest. And then two Good Samaritans are dragging him out of the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know if they're Good Samaritans or not. It's difficult to. It doesn't really exactly do it justice.
Well, yeah, and you can see it because we'll tweet it out. It's already been tweeted out. It's on Libs of TikTok too.
So the kid that was getting the beat down was unconscious, pulled out of the bathroom, then staff ultimately calls for school nurse and so on and so forth. The mom of the kid who was beaten up say the school is downplaying the fight. Of course, she also speaks to the patch on condition of anonymity. Everybody's anonymous. You know what? I think
this is a time I would not be anonymous.
I think everybody. I don't think people should have names anymore.
Oh, really?
I think everybody should be anonymous, just in the interest of making sure there's no retribution to you or anyone you've ever met. I don't think you should put your name on anything.
Okay, we could just be hashtags.
This kid said that she believes the school officials and Principal Lori Campos downplaying the incident. This is not just because my son, because this is not isolated. And the way they're trying to push this under the rug is not unique to the situation with my son. Apparently, after word of this got to the administration, they issued suspensions. But
2 days suspension. 2 days of suspension.
Well, it's a little bit more. 2 days for the 2 kids doing the beating that left that kid unconscious, and 10 days for the kid that was beaten unconscious because he apparently invited one or more of those kids to the bathroom after he had been called a name. So they say, oh, well, you initiated the fight, so you're getting more of a suspension than the people that actually beat you up.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. Those 2 who are beating him up, I don't care if he lured them into the bathroom. They should have been charged right away. This should have been a police matter, and they should have been charged with a crime, which eventually now they are, as Mike Scott was reporting.
And of course, there's history here, as you might expect, as I understand it from talking to some parents. But the kid who is doing the beating, I guess the main kid, has a history of issues, but there's also some confusion about whether the kid who got beaten up has some issues. So here's what I know. The Friday is when the video surfaced. The school starts realizing what really happened in the bathroom. That's when the note to parents goes home about the incident in the bathroom. Then over the weekend, the white kid goes on social media, the kid that was beaten up, and makes a threat that he will bring a gun to school to get the black kid, and the black kid does the same. And people know or believe that the black kid has gang connections because of some incident that happened at a local McDonald's. And so the school gets a hold of all of this, and that's when the police are called and another note goes home.
Okay.
So, this is sort of, chaos for a minute or two. But it also sort of speaks to, and so it's a problem on both sides if you have both of them, on social media threatening to bring guns to school and people to school and settle this and so on. So it speaks to the larger question of what's happening in these schools. I mean, we saw the same thing. This was reminiscent of the incident that happened at York High School where a bunch of kids got around and were picking on and pushing down another kid with Down syndrome. Remember, we had that story exclusively that went viral. Some, again, anonymous member of a Wheaton area parents group. Everybody should be anonymous. This way you're protected. Then you don't actually have to ever do anything.
No.
You can sheepishly report information that may or may not be true. You can never be called on it. You never have to stand and deliver. And that's obviously what you want to teach your kids, too. Never stand up for yourselves under your own name. Never risk anything. Never stand up and declare what is right and what is wrong. Don't do anything. It's too risky. It's too risky to put your name on anything. There could be repercussions. And the last thing you want to do is teach kids to be responsible for their actions, to have enough sense to think about their reputation in terms of the decisions they make and so on and so forth. The whole idea that the name and the reputation, that's something that's valuable, that's important, that you should protect. No, just get rid of the names and you don't have to worry about that. It takes all that anxiety away. And you wonder why all these institutions are off the rails. I mean, could the parents be any bigger cowards? There's some video circulating, says this anonymous member of the Wheaton area parents group on social media. And then everybody just communicates on social media. Mm-hmm. No, but nobody can be in the same
chat groups. Like, don't you hear this and that?
Yeah, they're right. They're all
Facebook pages.
Yeah, they're just the busy little bees on social media. Nobody ever comes to the hive and hashes it out face to face. Has a real conversation back and forth. No, they're just sniping on social media like the anonymous Praetorian Guard for the school that they are. Some video circulating that has a few other families extremely worried. This is, of course, they're referencing the video. We're told there were 5 fights the same day. The kids are a reflection of the school, and it has us extremely worried because our kids are going to grow and go to that school. What can be done here? The public schools in our district have gone downhill, and it's very upsetting. This just in. The public schools in our district have gone downhill, and it's very upsetting.
It is upsetting to watch. And this is,
Well,
this is happening at Jones Prep. This is happening at every single school because of these stupid iPhones, and everybody wants their viral moment. They want to be superstars. They want to be influencers because they think that's the easy way out to success in America.
Wait. So people are beating each other up so they can so they can post it on Instagram?
Heck yeah. I see it every day. There's always an incident somewhere.
So
everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. You go to select.
Okay. So I just want to understand the claim. So the claim is that iPhones are causing violence.
You're damn right it is. And I stand by that 100%.
Of course you do, because it's just...
Well, I know I'm a lot, because I don't agree with you, because you think my ideas are stupid. I'm on the ground. You guys talk about kids, I'm with kids. And I know exactly what the heck they're doing.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that thing, or come on, fight, and they have their phones up like they're just fixing for a fight. Who's gonna get the better angle? Or maybe I'll get hit, and then I'll be on here, and I can put on snap.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculousness. I don't know what that and these COVID kids. Well,
yes, no, but I mean, you to continue carrying on, but just a point of order. And I know you dismiss it. Oh, I'm aggrieved. You just disagree to disagree. No, I just try to follow logic.
No, I understand that.
And just ask some simple questions.
Yeah, ask me
to plumb the depths of this alleged idea. So I would say 99% of the kids at Wheaton Warrenville South, just to use this example, have smartphones. Would you concede that's probably true?
I would say it's 100%. Who doesn't have a phone?
Right. So then what about the overwhelming majority of kids with iPhones who don't get in fights? How do you explain that?
They don't want to get in trouble from their parents or their teachers?
No. Smartphones cause violence. That's what you said. 100%, I stand by it.
People that have smartphones that want to be social influencers cause violence just to get that viral moment.
Cause violence. So smartphones and the
it's a tool that they use because they think their life will be easier.
It's a tool.
You know what I'm saying.
Uh-huh. Bob in West Chicago. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. I live in District 200, and there's a situation in one of the other schools where a sport coach put his hand on one of the students and kind of reprimanded him, but did nothing more than just touch him. Now he's on administrative leave for months, and because the parents obviously were incensed that this coach touched their child, and I've got family members that know this case personally because they used to work at one of the schools. So it's a problem with the school boards, the teachers' unions, the parents. It goes all the way around.
Thanks for the call, Bob. Well, here's the thing. Obviously, this is being hyped because it's out of the ordinary. That's something to consider. The only reason we're talking about this is because it's out of the ordinary and there's video. So we can all be outraged. Oh, that's terrible what happened. At Wheaton Warrenville South. But, I mean, I don't know. Did anybody else go to high school or grade school? Were you ever in a fight?
Oh, yeah.
So what are we saying exactly? Is it about kids fighting? I mean, maybe threatening to bring a gun to school is taking it next level. I mean, not maybe, that is. That's a problem. Maybe that would have happened more if there was social media back in our day or earlier. But
we had fights outside the school, though, not inside the school. It was more like, I'll meet you outside in the playground.
Okay, but I'll meet you in the bathroom. I'll meet you at the bike rack. Is there a huge difference? It's still on school grounds and so on and so forth. What's the difference? So is it about the nature of kids, or is the nature of adults? What's the difference? Are kids all that different? Or are the adults, I'm talking about the parents too, and the administrators, the stakeholders, is that what's different? Focused on these kids, and this is what should happen to this one, and so on and so forth, and let's argue about the suspensions, and anonymous mom of kid who got beaten up says this is going on, and they're downplaying this, and so on and so forth. Why is there so much interest in this? Because there's a lot of interest. Remember to think about that? And do you ever think about sort of what you're really reacting to? Ban iPhones. Okay. Tina and Joliet.
Hi, good morning, guys. So I wanted to kind of just touch on why the parent might be afraid to come forward. And after I was on the receiving end of months and months and months of attacks from leftist Antifa groups, tried to get me fired from my job, targeted my children, posted my all personal information, even went so far back as to find some of my high school yearbook pictures. And when I went, I mean, it got so bad that, the FBI was involved in 2 police departments. And here's the advice I got. Have your company remove your information from their website, delete your social media, change your phone number, and basically just, roll over and go into hiding. That was the help I was offered. And they knew who it was. They knew it because I wasn't the only victim. And there is they do not want to help you. They don't. I don't know. And I was told because it was happening in Cook County, there's nothing will happen. Even if they went and confronted this person, the main culprit, that it would probably get worse for me and Cook County would do nothing with it. So parents are afraid to put their names and faces out there. And I've always been very upfront and fighting back against the left. And I understand how grueling it can be. And quite frankly, it can get dangerous. So that may be the reason that they're afraid.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the call, Tina. I don't know. I'm not really persuaded. I got to tell you. Phil, Northwest Side.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy's aware of what she sees, but that's kind of like children. They're aware of whatever new politics of the day. In my father's generation, there were race riots of 100 people and 100 people. In my generation, at Sullivan High School, we'd have 60 to 70 people fighting in the streets all the time, and nothing was on phones. And we had to fight gangbangers almost every single day. And I was considered at a magnet school that was supposed to be, a little better than Steinmetz or Foreman or anything else. Mm-hmm. It has to do with how bad kids are influenced and what the Democrat Chicago Public School Teachers Union let people get away with.
And so how were those fights dealt with back in your day at that school?
Police were called, and if a woman officer pulled up, they kept fighting. When the men showed up, they would start dissipating. And I hate to say it, the school basically did nothing. I mean, I had to go in for head x-rays and CAT scans and all kinds of stuff. And we had very political, left-leaning principals and teachers that some were helpful, but most were not. And most were not doing anything about it, not even like suspensions or anything. And I think a lot of it, what it has to do with is that all this fatherlessness, now you have sissies getting in fights, trying to bully people. Wow. And the reason I say that is because as long as they can catch a video, it's much more intimidating. And all these kids are growing up with single moms. And 83% of all our prisons, male and female, come from single mom homes. That's the government's statistic.
Thanks for the call, Phil. Well, yeah, although that's a much smaller percentage of the families at Wheaton Warrenville South or York High School, and there's still a problem. Well, there's a problem I'm pointing to, not the problem that everybody else is pointing to. This fight between a couple of kids. There's the adult problem I'm pointing to. Steve, Northwest Side.
How you doing? Couple of items. I grew up in a single mom house, and if your mom cares about your kids, you take care of them. Do what you're supposed to do. You keep your kids in order. You make sure they're home at night, not roaming the streets at 3 a.m. So the single mom stuff, I'm sick of it. I grew up with a single mom, 3 kids. She worked. We were all kept in order. What we need to do every day: go to school, do your homework, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So single mom stuff, I'm sick of it. And I went to Gordon Tech And if you had a problem with one of the guys at the school, they had a boxing ring. Step into the ring after school if you want, figure it out, and move on.
Yeah.
Nobody was getting arrested. I mean, and if you didn't adhere to the rules there, I mean, I'm sure you remember Gordon Tech. If you had a problem and a priest grabbed you by the shirt and straightened you out, you either took it or they threw you out. No crap. Just move on with life.
Yeah, right.
so
Constructive dispute resolution. Yes.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm so the single mom and the single dad and the phones, and you know what? The school should put a rule: no phones in school. If you have a phone in school, they send you home.
Well, that's Northridge Prep. Yep. Joe, Arlington Heights.
Good morning. Obviously, with all the comments we're hearing, this is a complicated subject that has to do with parenting. It has to do with media. But I just recall from time to time reading or hearing interviews about studies that were done about the vast decrease in empathy that is theorized to be occurring by social media interaction instead of in-person interaction. And so I think, Amy, when you're referring to the cell phones, I would say it's much deeper than that. It's a corrosive effect on society and behavior based upon individuals not dealing face-to-face, settling it in a boxing ring, if you will, at Gordon Tech, and growing up that way. And then eventually you just have less care for another. I saw an article in Psychology Today saying that over the course of 20 years, trying to measure empathy on college campuses, they're showing a 40% decline in care for the other.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Joe. I mean, I don't know, Psychology Today, not exactly a reliable source anymore, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. Frank, Board of Trade, quickly.
My wife went to Rich South 50 years ago when they used to bus the kids in. She told me that there was girls in the ladies' room picking fights every day.
Thanks for the call. Right, so that's sort of my point. The kids haven't changed that much. The institutions and the approach by the adults, that's what's changed.
All right. I agree with that. Fine. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The producer of a documentary called Border Wars, pretty self-explanatory, Nicole McCaw, joins at 7:07.
Today we're going to have some sun, then increasing clouds by this afternoon, a high of 51 degrees. And tomorrow we're going to have some rain move in the area. It's now 7 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Republicans won't cheer the president very much tonight. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Because under Joe Biden's failed leadership, the State of the Union right now is chaos, as is the state of the world.
GOP Senator Steve Daines.
With the president's age and widespread voter disapproval about how he's handled his job, this address tonight is essentially going to be like sitting for a job interview for the American public to choose him again for another 4 years.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House.
He's going to paint the usual contrast that we often hear with Trump and the what he calls dangerous MAGA Republican agenda, but he's also going to be making a boogeyman out of corporations. He's going to be blaming corporate greed for things like shrinkflation and stubborn high prices.
Now, after the State of the Union address, Senator Katie Britt will deliver the Republican response. She's from Alabama, where
Governor Kay Ivey signed a bill into law last night protecting in vitro fertilization providers from criminal prosecution or lawsuits. The Republican-controlled state legislature quickly passed the bill after the Alabama Supreme Court ruled last month that frozen embryos are children, a decision that prompted many IVF centers to pause services.
Fox's Carmen Roberts. For the first time after months of attacks in and around the Red Sea, Houthi militants have killed 3 people, crew members on a ship hit by rocket fire. The U.S. has been attacking Houthi targets in Yemen. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says
these reckless attacks by the Iran-backed Houthis have not only disrupted global trade and commerce, but also taken the lives of international seafarers simply doing their jobs.
Will Alec Baldwin be next? A New Mexico jury convicted Hannah Gutierrez-Reed of involuntary manslaughter in the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of the movie Rust. Gutierrez-Reed was in charge of weapons on the set. The gun went off in Baldwin's hand. The actor goes on trial in July. America's listening to Fox News.
7:02, we have some sunshine this morning. 37 degrees on AM 560. The Answer. 2 juveniles will face charges today after video of an assault at a West Suburban high school surfaced. The morning of February 28, a student at Wheaton-Warrenville South High School was brutally beaten inside of a high school bathroom. Later that day, one student involved was identified by a school resource officer. Then another student gave up cell phone footage of that incident to police. Now the two teens who are charged with aggravated battery are due in juvenile court. Chicago's mansion tax is back on the ballot after a ruling yesterday by an Illinois appellate court. Mayor Brandon Johnson.
I'm grateful that so many people have worked hard over the course of now the third administration, because this has been a long time coming for the people of Chicago.
The referendum in question would impose a mansion tax, changing how real estate transfers are taxed. Transfer taxes on homes sold for less than $1 million could be reduced by up to 20%. Taxes on homes above $1 million increasing dramatically. While originally dedicated to funding homeless measures, the Johnson administration laying out a clear plan on how the money will be spent. Already, the Chicago Teachers Union is demanding their share of the cash to fund a new teacher's contract. One man is dead, a woman injured after a shooting at a West Side gas station Wednesday morning. And a bus driver is dead, two school kids recovering from injuries after a school bus crash yesterday along DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Bulls beat Utah 119-117 last night at the Delta Center. They take on the Warriors later on tonight. Northwestern, a Big Ten basketball loss to Michigan State, 53-49. Loyola burnishes their NCAA credentials. They beat Davidson in the A-10, 69-59. In the Valley today, tournament action, UIC takes on the Salukis of Southern Illinois. The news, a service of Fox Valley Coins. This is a great time to bring in your scrap gold jewelry and sterling flatware. Cash or check offered on the spot. FoxValleyCoins.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Should biological men be allowed to compete against women? Should women be forced to share locker rooms with biological men? This is the fight that All-American swimmer Riley Gaines is fighting across America as she advocates for the safety, privacy, and quality of women and girls in sports. See Riley Gaines live in Chicagoland on Friday, March 22nd, presented by Breakthrough Ideas and the Parents Matter Coalition. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/tickets. That's 560theanswer.com/tickets.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. President Trump had the border under control by the end of his first term, and Trump has promised to do so again quickly in a second term. President Biden, in the sharpest contrast to the campaign ahead, lost control of that border by simply abandoning the Trump policies. More than 9 million people have entered the country without permission in his first 3 years. That number, of course, does not include gotaways, the illegal immigrants who never, quote, encountered law enforcement. Add to this the death from the fentanyl streaming over our border with the illegal immigrants, and we see it all too clearly. The border is a mess, and it gets worse. Only 450 Chinese nationals were, quote, encountered at the border in 2021. By 2023, that number had swelled to, wait for it, over 24,000. We're looking at a national security issue of the first order. We need to get serious now.
Federal authorities are spying on conservatives. They were just exposed for pressuring banks to look for transactions with keywords like MAGA, Trump, and Bible. This is not the America I know. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I am deeply concerned about the tyranny I see in Washington. And this is why I'm thankful for physical gold IRAs, because they offer tangible financial security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. To find out more, text the word PROTECT to 989898. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. This is your chance to secure your IRA or your 401k against the unpredictable nature of our economy. Text PROTECT to the number 989898 now to request your free info kit on gold IRAs. That's PROTECT to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
Hi, Regular Joe Gigante here, reaching out at a critical moment for our republic. Right now, the very foundation of our democratic process is under threat by Robin Vos and his cronies. They're spreading falsehoods claiming a recall election would cost $450,000 and unfairly divert funds from vital services like EMS. This is a deliberate attempt to mislead and manipulate the public and simply isn't true. But why resort to such tactics? Well, simply put, Robin Vos fears the power of accountability. If they're willing to lie about this, what else are they willing to lie about? Concerns even extend to personal extravagances like Voss's lavish trip to Italy, where he held his most recent wedding. What are they trying to hide? The Vos Mafia is playing dangerous games with our democratic values. It's time to hold Robin Vos and his sycophants accountable by signing the recall petition against Robin Vos. Join the thousands of your neighbors in signing the petition. Visit recallvos.com. Recallvos.com for more information.
Paid for by Recall Voss.
7:08. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. It is a service of the Chicago Gaelic Park House Raffle. Enter to win a brand new home or $450,000 cash prize, $100 per ticket. Drawing held March 24. Chicago Gaelic Park House Raffle.com. Outbound Kennedy solid between Randolph and Addison due to an earlier accident. Ike on the inbound side already 50 minutes, 390 into the old post office. Bishop Ford and I-57 jamming into the Ryan merge. The Ryan outbound has an accident, right shoulder at 75th. And still delays in Bartlett. Army Trail Road still entirely shut down, east and westbound between Smith and Gerber due to a major gas main leak that will not be repaired likely until the end of the morning rush to work. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Rose Tamburino.
We'll have some sunshine as we start the day today, but clouds will be increasing. The high today 51. Periods of rain toward dawn tonight, otherwise cloudy with a low 42. And then occasional rain tomorrow with a high of 50. I'm Rose Tamburino on AM 560. The Answer.
37 at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So President Biden's State of the Union address is tonight. It'll be, by the way, aired live here starting at 8 p.m.
Yes, that's right. And then we'll be taking your phone calls all day tomorrow morning. Well, not all day, but tomorrow to see if you watched it and what you learned or didn't learn from it.
Well, he's going to have to address the matter at the border. He's going to address it in a meaningful way. He'll, of course, make the call for these intransigent House Republicans to support this bipartisan legislation that was crafted by Schumer and McConnell/Langford. And can't we just work together? I'll come to you, you come to me, let's do this for America, and so on and so forth. But against that backdrop, he's going to have a problem, which I assume will be included in the Republican response and the back and forth subsequent to the speech, which is the efforts that have been made by House Republicans, not just H.R. 2, but as House Speaker Mike Johnson outlined yesterday, the Lake and Riley Act that is being advanced in the House. And what, other than the overture for bipartisanship, which is sort of a conceding the underlying advance of people coming into this country illegally, just at a slower pace, what else is he going to have to say? Will he do something that maybe is unanticipated and would be upsetting to his base, which is to announce executive orders along the lines of what is contained in the Lake and Riley Act?
Well, it's so important because we got to ensure that this can't happen again. Republicans will not stand for the release of dangerous criminals into our communities, and that's exactly what the Biden administration has done. Laken is just one of the tragic examples of innocent American citizens who have lost their lives, been brutally and violently attacked by illegal criminals who are roaming our streets because they've allowed them in. So the Lake and Riley Act, what it will do is ensure that ICE has to arrest and detain criminals who are aliens in the country, and that we'll deport them back to where they came from. And we're also going to allow the states to sue the federal government for its refusal to enforce federal law. We're doing everything we can as House Republicans.
Well, if the action in the Senate is any indication, probably don't expect to hear anything particularly new from President Biden, considering Dick Durbin, one of Pagliacci's sentinels in the Senate, killed an opportunity to have a floor vote on the Sarah Root law, sponsored by Iowa Senator Joni Ernst, which would do something very similar to what the Lake and Riley Act would do, that is pending in the House. For more on all this, we're pleased to be joined by Nicole McCaw. She is the producer and creator of the documentary Border Wars, which is available at salemnow.com, the film Border Wars. Nicole, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Thank you so much for having me on.
So give us sort of your angle of incidents on all things border security and immigration related as presented in your film.
When we went to the border 2 years ago, we wanted to see, are there kids in cages? Are there women and children being brought into sex trafficking? Is there fentanyl at the border? And right as we started our journey, I'm from inner city Detroit. My nephew actually overdosed 3 times on fentanyl within 48 hours. And what's unique about this fentanyl is that 40% of it coming across the border is actually lethal. We are losing 400 Americans a day to a one-time use of fentanyl. The ages between 18 and 23. That is our future, my friend. That's our future. And that's what we're facing here at the border. Now, a lot of the times we see these activists where they're saying climate change, let's take care of the environment, stop the petroleum. They're, throwing paint on priceless art. Yet they're not at the border looking at the women and children, 60 to 80% who are getting raped coming in. That's the truth we are facing. We are facing murders in our community by these illegals. Look what happened in the state of Georgia to that university student. I mean, there's so many examples that we can see with the open border, and the people in power, every single one of them, with just their signature, can veto and close this border. They can veto anything that comes across their desk that doesn't have to do with closing the border, and they're choosing not to.
And so in your film, though, the focus on this seems to be on the human cost, maybe on both sides of the border, and because I understand that you interview victims of this trafficking and lawlessness at the border.
Absolutely. So we feature some victims in our film. They were brave enough to come forward and share their story as a part of their healing journey. And what I wanted to feature is this girl was from Action Park, New Jersey. She was held in a basement in Long Island for 3 years. And here's the kicker. She met her handler online, and she was groomed online by someone that was out of the country, who came into the country illegally, ended up meeting up with her and then taking her and selling her 30, 40 times a night to construction workers out of the basement in Long Island.
Did she ever, how did she get rescued?
Her story is in there, and in the end, she ended up in Arizona on a campus following a girl who had a golden retriever from a 7-Eleven and followed her back to the campus. She saw a professor and just let it all out because she was only 17 years old.
Wow.
And she told the campus professor. They ended up helping her, getting her rescued. And then right now she's in law school, becoming an attorney in the state of New York.
That's a great story. So this 2-year journey, where did you go? Because you must have been in some dangerous places.
We went from places like Tijuana, California. We went all the way over to the famous place for Eagles Pass, Hidalgo, Roma. We went to the Verde. We went to McAllen, the kidnapping capital of the country. Did you guys know that?
I did not know that. So what's going on in McAllen, Texas?
Right now, they have the highest cases of missing persons in the country on record for the past decade from kidnapping.
And you mentioned too that 2 years ago you wanted to see the much ballyhooed kids in cages and so forth. So your interaction with Customs and Border Protection and what the situation was for the migrants and how they were treated by American law enforcement, is that part of it as well?
It was. And actually, when we were speaking to the NGOs, it was interesting when we were filming, they were all happy to show us and everything was all right and we brought toys and food. But as soon as we stopped rolling, a lot of the employees, the volunteers, came up to us and they were talking with us and showing us how the children were marked on their teeth before they even come into the country. So that way they're belonging to certain cartels. Not only do they have their wristbands to identify them, but now they're marking their teeth. And one night, we detained 100 illegals. 48 were men. The rest were children, zip-tied and sedated on Zoloft. And when we called 911 and the ambulance came, they said, yeah, you guys, they're probably on Zoloft. Look around and you'll find the packets. Well, we found a bunch of Zoloft packets. Now, I'm a mother of a 13-year-old child. Yes, being a parent is aggravating sometimes, but I never drugged him. So clearly, these were not their fathers. And when we asked them, where's the mother? We're getting a divorce. All 48 men at the border at 3:32 a.m.
So their parents they're just unaccompanied minors that were kidnapped or sold to these men to take into the country, because I guess you're treated differently if you're here illegally with a child rather than by yourself.
Absolutely. So what I found going to the border and actually walking on the other side and talking to families, a lot of the families, women actually, with no husbands and the children were taken. They said a lot of the times what happens is the cartels come, they recruit the husbands, they leave, they come into the United States, and the cartels come back for their kids. And not so they can be joined as a family, so they can work for the gangs or sold into sex trafficking. And here's the reality that we face. $22 million a day is what Texas is making in child sex trafficking. Just one state alone. This is a day.
What do you mean? What do you mean Texas is making?
So what I mean by that, the cartels in the state of Texas are making $22 million a day off of sex trafficking. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. So right. I mean, it's such a ghoulish business. People don't even want to confront it. I suspect they don't want to think about these horrific things. But this is what Tom Homan, the former acting ICE director under Trump, says all the time, that border security is the most humane policy, because this is the lawlessness just animates these ghoulish businesses, the fentanyl business, the drug trafficking that you're talking about, and the human trafficking, including minors. I mean, so all of these sort of Horatio Alger stories that are pumped by the open borders crowd. This is the seedy underbelly that they don't want to discuss, that they don't want to talk about, that they don't want to see documented, because this is the reality.
Absolutely. And what I found interesting about the history with the border wall, right? You know, we were told, oh, there's a big wall, people are getting hurt, they can't come in. Well, when I went there, majority of it is rusting. And it's open. I mean, we went to 2,000 miles, and it's just open like a Walmart parking lot. There's nothing there. And then we went to the pieces of the wall, and there's sections, and you'll see in the film that we have an open section. And this bus from Mexico drives through and stops in the middle of nowhere, and like 80 people get off the bus. And then the bus just drives back to Mexico. No problem, just drop off the load.
That's just another stop, right? It's it's just a bus stop. That's the border, is a bus stop.
Do they fly them in secretly or put them on a bus and just drive? Right.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, something else that we anticipated. This is something interesting. You know, we were told, oh, we're not flying them in the middle of the night. We're not flying them. No way, no way. Well, one of the gentlemen, Baz, who's a former CIA operative, former Marines, military, special forces, he ran out in Tennessee and for us and got the footage, which is in the film, And Spirit Airlines and American Airlines are flying these illegals. And then when you speak to the drivers, when they pull up in the Lyft and the Ubers to take these individuals off of the airplane, they ask them, do you know where you're taking them? Have you vetted these families? No, we just got an address and I got a paycheck. $1,500 to drive them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, well, I mean, now we know, thanks to the Center for Immigration Services FOIA lawsuit, 320,000 migrants have been flown in to 43 airports financed by our government. They won't tell us anymore. We see James O'Keefe at this Ramada Inn hotel in San Diego that's fenced off. There's a black tarp on the fence so that you can't see what's going on. I mean, all these things that are done surreptitiously, too, the involvement of the NGOs like Catholic Charities, these things that are done surreptitiously. I mean, if this is so humane, if this is so positive, if this is so laudable, this approach to border security and immigration policy, then you would think people would want to do it in the light of day, would be happy to do it in the most transparent fashion possible. Doesn't generate appropriate skepticism when everything is done in such an opaque fashion?
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. We are World War champions back to back. Why are we allowing these crimes against humanity to happen to women, to children, to their families? This is something that blows my mind. Right now, the Center of Immigration, Todd Benson, he's featured in the film. He's a 20-year agent, special border analysis, as well as he's worked under a couple different presidents for immigration policies. And what's interesting is he told me when he was in Juarez, he walked up to a guy who has a tent mansion. He's a foot smuggler. And he asked him, what contributes to your success? And he said, invitation in Spanish. So when they finished the interview, he said it was Joe Biden when he went on the stage and debated Trump and said, who wants open borders? And Joe Biden raised his hand. He said, that's an invitation to all of us foot smugglers. You will be rich. Well,
yeah, right. Decriminalizing border crossings, which every Democrat candidate for president, except for Colorado Senator Michael Bennet, raised their hand and said, I'm for decriminalization of border crossings. That message gets out the world over. Of course. I mean, that was such a moment, and it's so underappreciated. I'm glad you mentioned that. Nicole McCaw is the producer and creator of the documentary Border Wars. Again, it's called Border Wars, and it's available at salemnow.com. Nicole, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Dan and Amy. Take care.
Thank you. God bless. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You know, when you have chronic pain, you are miserable, whether you realize it or not. And the people around you, they don't think you're fun to be with. So if you have chronic pain in your knees, in your hips, in your joints, in your elbows, you might want to give QC Kinetics a call. Why? There's no surgery. There's no downtime. There's no drugs. And this stuff works. Just ask the pro athletes who've been doing this for decades, and now you can do it. It's a life-changing treatment that's available for you so you can walk and run, climb stairs, play golf, play pickleball, move again, pain-free. In fact, QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Think about it. When you cut your hand, eventually it heals because your body has those properties to do it. To find out more information, schedule a free consultation at any of their clinics throughout the Chicagoland area. The number to call is 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 5955. 312-809-5955.
For armed or unarmed security, average isn't good enough. You deserve more. You need more.
Morrison means more.
Morrison Security. More deterrence and prevention with customized programs that fit your budget. Cost-effective, sensible solutions for all businesses and facilities.
Morrison means more.
More peace of mind, knowing your security guards are well-trained professionals with a track record of getting results and serving exactly your needs. Morrison Security personnel are constantly trained for readiness and are prepared for any given situation that can occur at a job site.
Morrison means more.
More reliability of management for quick and effective solutions at your property. Morrison Security is responsive. They're always available to you.
Morrison means more.
More awareness of any challenges you face with protecting people, property, and assets. For armed and unarmed security, don't settle for substandard or average. Security is too important. Contact them and find out how you can get more. MorrisonSecurity.com. MorrisonSecurity.com.
Morrison means more.
All right, I can't wait to do it. Take Balance of Nature. Why? Definitely did not get enough fruits and vegetables on my own yesterday. That's why Balance of Nature is here. 31 whole fruits and vegetables. They take the fruits and veggies and they're turned into powder after an advanced vacuum cold process, which stabilizes the maximum nutrient content. Real food, real science, real nutrition. So get the nutrition your body needs. Get the nutrition your body craves. Get Balance of Nature. Feel good that you're doing something for yourself. The number to call is 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago, or simply go online to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
At Turnkey, we understand that success isn't just about the bottom line. It's about creating a business that aligns with your own personal goals and aspirations. Hi, this is David Kolsak, president and founder of Turnkey. Nearly 3 decades ago, I started my own business so that I could have control of my financial destiny. I also wanted the freedoms of flexible work hours, family time, and to pursue my own passions. Now, my team of veteran consultants and technicians have been helping other businesses do just the same. At Turnkey, we know that every business is unique. That's why we take the time to learn about you and your business and help you build a customized strategy to make your business an extension of your lifestyle. We optimize your business, streamline operations, leverage your IT infrastructure, and help you find innovative solutions. Our world-class IT and business consulting services allow us to focus on the tedious stuff so you can focus on what's important to you. Start a conversation today. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro today.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. President Trump had the border under control by the end of his first term, and Trump has promised to do so again quickly in a second term. President Biden, in the sharpest contrast to the campaign ahead, lost control of that border by simply abandoning the Trump policies. More than 9 million people have entered the country without permission in his first 3 years. That number, of course, does not include gotaways, the illegal immigrants who never, quote, encountered law enforcement. Add to this the death from the fentanyl streaming over our border with the illegal immigrants, and we see it all too clearly. The border is a mess, and it gets worse. Only 450 Chinese nationals were, quote, encountered at the border in 2021. By 2023, that number had swelled to, wait for it, over 24,000. We're looking at a national security issue of the first order. We need to get serious now.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-353-2973 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-353-2973. That's 800-353-2973. What do you have to lose? Call 800-353-2973. Again, 800-353-2973.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Why would a former Atlanta police officer open an all-boys Christian school in West Virginia? We'll find out when Steve Finn joins us at 7:37.
But first, let's head into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
7:32, partly sunny this morning and 37 right now. Alabama lawmakers race to protect in vitro fertilization patients in spite of a recent court ruling. Certain IVF functions were shut down in the state last month when the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that frozen embryos should be considered human beings. Republican Governor Kay Ivey signed the bill late Wednesday that protects providers and patients from some legal liability. President Biden will deliver his State of the Union address tonight. He'll play up work his administration has done across the aisle.
President Biden faces a big challenge to convince voters the oldest president in U.S. history can keep going. 75% of the country thinks he's too old for the job. According to a recent Fox News poll, these are the top issues for voters in 2024: the economy, immigration, and abortion. Tonight will likely be one of President Biden's largest audiences this year. Ukraine's First Lady declined an invitation. The shortest State of the Union address by a modern president was Richard Nixon back in 1972, just 29 minutes. House Speaker Mike Johnson inviting the police officers attacked in Times Square recently by a migrant mob.
You can hear that entire address and the GOP response on AM 560 this evening. Police are on the lookout for at least 3 suspects, all connected to a mass shooting. 8 teens were shot yesterday afternoon near a Southeast Pennsylvania Transportation Authority bus stop. 2 teens are critically wounded this morning, the others hospitalized in serious but stable condition. St. Francis of Rome School in Cicero has been saved from closure after donors came forward to keep the school open. The Archdiocese of Chicago announcing that St. Francis will stay open for at least the next 5 years after groups like Big Shoulders and other individuals pledged hundreds of thousands of dollars. A school in Berwyn, St. Odilo, is still projected to close. Chicago's mansion tax is back on the ballot after an Illinois appellate court ruling yesterday, a move applauded by the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless.
But we're talking about human lives, not a checkbook, not just people who want a handout, want money. There are 68,000 people who are homeless. We're talking about homelessness, and it's about housing. And housing in a just society is a human right. Transfer taxes on homes sold for less than $1 million could be reduced, while dramatically increased on those above $1 million. The family of a homeless man is suing a former CTA employee accused in his death. The suit filed this week claims Emmett Richardson abused 54-year-old Kevin Powell for nearly an hour before his death at the LaSalle Street Blue Line stop in March of last year.
He went from being a loving son, brother, and human being to a corpse, courtesy of the CTA and its employee.
Attorney Lance Northcutt says Powell was abused by the CTA employee, Emmett Richardson. Richardson is charged with first-degree murder. He's out on bond and on electronic monitoring. DeMar DeRozan sunk a pair of free throws late in a Bulls win over the Jazz, 119-117. Big Ten hoops, Northwestern falls to Michigan State, 53-49. Spring baseball, Cubs a win over the Angels, while the Sox lost to the Dodgers. 7:35. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This radio station is always on, but sometimes you need more content that you can take with you anywhere. That's why we invented the SalemPodcastNetwork.com. You'll find all the great hosts on this radio station, plus a few more, like Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, Trish Regan, Jenna Ellis, and Dennis and Julie. There's literally no end to what we can teach you. It's like radio on demand, and just like radio, it's always on. Go find out what you're missing. Download the app, SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
You know what? I actually am starting to feel better every day. Every day a little better.
I've been with you all a while now. I swear by it. Yeah, I love it. I bought a lot of stuff that didn't work before, but They do help me a lot. I tell everybody about it. I tell all my friends. I swear by it.
I've been taking it for years. I am 65, and the stuff that I'm able to do it amazes people that are in their 40s.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Everyone knows that crime is on the rise. It's imperative that law enforcement agents have the information they need to keep citizens safe and protect themselves as well. If you are a sworn law enforcement agent certified in the state of Illinois and working for an agency in Illinois, you might be interested in this announcement. Would you like to have an on-the-job decision-making tool at your fingertips? Law enforcement agency data systems information is available to you at an affordable price when you use the Illinois Public Safety Agency Network products, Bullet or Mini Bullet. Your Android or Apple-based handheld mobile device, phone or tablet can receive this data. In addition, your desktop or laptop can also receive this information via the internet. Just call the Illinois Public Safety Agency Network at 773-693-3000 or visit ipsan.org and pilot Bullet or Mini Bullet. That's 773-693-3000 or visit ipsan.org.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RADIO for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code RADIO.
7:38. Let's check the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is the service of Turnkey.pro. With decades of C-suite experience, Turnkey knows small business. Their team knows how to reduce costs and grow new revenue streams, all without having to hire on-site pros. Turnkey has solutions for your business. Visit turnkey.pro, turnkey.pro. In Bartlett, Army Trail Road remains shut down both directions, east and west, due to a gas leak between Smith and Gerber Roads. Traveling on the Jane Addams I-90 eastbound, jammed up between Beverly and Roselle Road due to an accident. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, roadwork setting up northbound between the Stevenson and Monroe with big delays this morning. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Sun this morning, then clouds on the increase. High 51, leading to rain overnight, and a low of 42. 37 right now. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I always have respect for people who do like a complete 180 professionally when they're, mid or even later on in their particular career, right? I mean, it takes a lot to do something completely different after you've been doing it for a while, right?
You got to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but people do it.
Well, with God, all things are possible, including an Atlanta police officer becoming the founder of a Christian school for troubled youth in West Virginia. That's the story of Stephen Finn. It's a remarkable one that I first learned about by reading a profile on him in Epoch Times. He joins us now to talk about this directional shift mid-career. Stephen Finn is the founder and executive director of the Chestnut Mountain Ranch School in West Virginia. Thanks for joining us, Steve. Appreciate it.
It's good to be here, Dan and Amy. Thank you for having me.
So tell us, how does an Atlanta cop start a Christian school in West Virginia?
Yeah, it was something I never expected. I I had 12 years of law enforcement in Metro Atlanta. Absolutely loved what I did. It was a calling on my life. I thought I was going to be an officer for the rest of my days, and God throws you a curveball sometimes. And fortunately enough, my wife and I were paying attention when that came, and we started, just these what-if conversations. We saw a lot of kids entering the system. We saw a lot of kids making poor decisions that were cutting their life short, and it was stirring conversation with my wife and I, like, what if we did more? What if we could get upstream from this and help these children? And we didn't even know what we were talking about at the time, but you don't know until you start knocking. And so we started checking things out, and we found a Christian children's home in Georgia. We fell in love with it. We decided to go jump in. We became a house parent for 3 years at this facility called Eagle Ranch, and that's where the vision began to get traction for West Virginia. Once we saw a program that worked, once we saw a program that was not only turning the lives of these children around, but was restoring families. And I was seeing it as an officer. I was seeing these programs, these kids being adjudicated for 4 to 6 months, and they were basically just being warehoused, and nothing was taking place in their heart or their home. And here's this private Christian program just north of Atlanta that was knocking it out of the park. And the what-if conversation started again about what if we took this somewhere in the country where the need is the highest. And my wife, she's crazier than I am, and she said, let's do it. And so we did the research, and West Virginia came up as having the highest statistics for children in foster care and other areas of at-risk situations. And so we decided to go after it in 2005.
Wow. How did COVID play into this? Because a lot of kids were, at home on their laptops.
Well, we've got a degree of children out of school and truancy issues, and obviously the opioid epidemic here in West Virginia is the worst in the country. And so you've got all these adults that are going into the system or passing away, and you've got all these kids that are being raised by grandparents or going into the foster care. And so the system's overloaded anyway, and then COVID hits, and you've got just a accelerated degree of isolation. And so these kids are just getting so far behind in school. And of course, our phones started ringing on the backside of COVID with just families that were crying out for help. They just didn't know how to get their child out of a rut back into a degree of normalcy. And these kids were shutting down.
Well, wait a second. We skipped over some things here. So we're in Georgia. We're being a house family, and we're seeing a model that works. And then we decide we're going to go to West Virginia to replicate it or scale what we saw in Georgia. Well, so I take it from the article, you guys didn't have a lot of venture capital lying around. So, how do you do that? I mean, how do you go from Georgia to West Virginia and open a school and operate the school and so on and so forth? I mean, that's there's still a lot missing in how that comes to be.
Oh, there's a lot missing there. Yeah. So, and I'll try to go through it quickly. Take your time. It comes down to prayer and petition, and we decided, hey, if God's in this thing, He's in it. If He's not, He's not. And so I don't have a fundraising background. I don't have a public speaking background. I was an officer that had a heart for kids, and we jumped in. And so we decided, okay, we're moving to the poor state with this huge vision. How are we going to do this? And we decided, let's do this debt-free. Let's not ask for money. If God's in this, we're going to pray it in, and if it's not, in 12 months, we're going to shut it down. But I knew I needed to be here, so we moved here. We packed up the U-Haul and the kids. We bought a little house in West Virginia, and we just got here. And so that first year was rough. I thought I had made a big mistake. We got down to $25 in our bank account at one point. We were $25.54 away from tapping out and moving back to Georgia, and that was my deal with God. I said, hey, if this thing goes on the other side of the finances, we're done. And He just stripped us down to nothing. And in our last hour, when we're getting ready to pull out, because we couldn't find anybody that was willing to sell us land without going to a bank, and this whole vision seemed like it was collapsing. And in the final hour, I get the phone call, and there's this property the gentleman wants to meet. He gives us a price. And what I didn't realize was that there was people watching us. A lot of people, you know, I had about 88 people on my mailing list when this thing started. It was basically my mom's Christmas card list. It was, Uncle Doyle and just people that we knew. But what we didn't realize was there was a lot of people that heard about us, that found out, and people were just peeking over the fence to see what was going to happen. And when this property got in our crosshairs, this miracle unfolded, and we went from 0 to 90, and we bought the property debt-free in about 9 weeks. So we went from moving back to Georgia to being on the map, and this thing started rolling out.
And then getting the word out and getting enough trust of families that are looking for a schooling alternative for their kids that they put their trust in you guys with their kids, with their boys.
That's right. So we've got 300 acres. We've got when we bought the land, there wasn't even a trail into the property. We had to develop everything, and people started showing up. Corporations, Coca-Cola came in heavy. We've had churches from Atlanta, churches from West Virginia, all over the East Coast. The story got out, and people started coming and helping us hack into this land and build roads, and then the buildings. If you go on our website, you'll see how beautiful our facility is. But it's been by the hand of many. Wow. Like right now, we've got 21 college kids here from Boston that are here on their spring break. They decided to come here and help us build the 4th boys' home. We've got 4 homes on the property right now. We have a vision to build 3 more. We're doing this debt-free. We've got a beautiful school on the property that's big enough for 60 children, and that we can grow into it as we add more homes. Our school is nationally accredited, and we've got a chapel on the property that went up 2 years ago, and we hope to break ground on a gymnasium later this year.
This is like
I want to go.
This is like Field of Dreams stuff. Like I'm waiting for you to tell me that Joe Jackson showed up.
Well, what's one of your success stories for your kids? I know you take in troubled teens, but have any of them, just tell us about one of your success stories.
Well, so our very first boy, when you open a facility, you're going to take any kid that shows up at first, and so we had some pretty rough kids in the early days. But I can remember our very first boy that came through here. He had a lot going against him. Family issues. He had some physical disabilities. And I just thought, man, what's this kid going to do when he gets older? He was just always it just seemed like he always had everything going against him. And he was a handful. And at about 16 years old, something happened. He was with us for almost 5 years. He ended up growing up here, and he began to mature. His speech cleared up because he had a speech impediment. He had some issues with his arms. They straightened out. He just became this man, and now he is a police officer here in West Virginia. He's actually the chief of police in a small town. And he comes by all the time in uniform with his patrol car, and it puts me in the humble seat every time I see him roll onto the property, because I'm like, okay, God just fed me a big piece of humble pie. Because in the early days I thought, man, I'm not sure what this kid's going to do, and we've got a lot more stories like that. We've got kids in the military, we've got kids, we've got one young man with the FBI. A lot of our kids have gone into trade schools. They've gotten into there's just a lot of work out there, and these kids can jump into welding or plumbing, heavy machinery operating, and be making a good living right out of 18, 19 years old. Statistically, the population of kids that we're dealing with, these kids would not be graduating high school. If they weren't at the ranch, they wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be graduating high school, and they'd be in the judicial system at some level. We've had over 100 kids go through our program since we took the first kid in 2011, and 91% of the children that have gone through our school have graduated high school and have moved on to higher, whether it's trade school or higher education.
It's interesting too, because so you come from Atlanta and working for Atlanta PD, so you're in this urban environment. Now you're in this rural environment, and I just with kids. So kids are largely different races: white versus black, West Virginia versus Metro Atlanta.
Right.
But it's the same problems, right? It's the same challenges.
It boils down to these children want to be seen. They want to be heard. They need a father and a mother. We hear all this talk today about homelessness and dealing with the mental health issues and incarceration rates. But if you go upstream from that, it goes into the foster care system. Like so many of these people that we need to help have been in the foster care system, or they've been in a fatherless or parentless situation where somebody other than their parents have raised them, and that's a tough situation for a child to deal with. And so as they age out, they're gravitating towards people groups that or decisions that are unhealthy and putting them in bad places. So we're trying to get upstream from even that and deal with the what's causing these issues, and how can we get the community behind this to step in? How can we get the church behind this to step in and work with government officials to support those in foster care, work with those children in foster care, build more facilities like Chestnut Mountain Ranch where these children have a safe haven to grow up and be part of a loving home for a season of their life where they're experiencing unconditional love, they're experiencing structure, they're experiencing a work ethic, and they're realizing that there's a God in heaven that knows them by name, and that He's got a plan and a purpose for their life. I tell you, it's really interesting too, because it's how leadership builds consensus, or maybe uncovers consensus. So you go there, and it's a smaller town setting. I imagine, I'm not well versed in West Virginia, and people hear about, wait, what are they doing? What? And then they're watching you guys, as you later found out. So everybody knew there was a problem. Everybody knew what the problem was. And then you come in with an idea, and then the community rallies around the idea, and then you get help from far and wide, and from Atlanta Falcons that you didn't expect, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's just such a fascinating example of of vision, basically. I mean, it took some time. It took some time to get kind of accepted into the Appalachian culture.
I'm sure. And to put everything on the line, too, to pursue this vision that's in service of others and, of course, in service of the Maker. But, just outstanding. So pleased to speak with you, and wish you great congratulations on your success and continued good work. Stephen Finn is the founder and executive director of Chestnut Mountain Ranch in West Virginia. Steve Finn, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan and Amy, thank you so much. It's an honor.
Thank you. God bless you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
It was the one thing that I was missing in my diet. And since me being a very active person, I do mountain biking, I do triathlons, I run, bike, so I'm always active, I couldn't say anything negative about this product. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's been 100% natural, and I tell you, I feel amazing.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Chicago.
The following is a paid political announcement.
The Chicago Tribune has endorsed Dr. Kent Mercado for the 11th District. Dr. Mercado is on a mission to restore family values and norms. He's not just talking the talk, he is walking the walk. But what really sets him apart are those kitchen table issues. The ones that keep you up at night. Rising costs, your family's health and safety, children's education. You deserve a dose of common sense. Vote for change. Vote for Dr. Kent Mercado, Republican for Congress in the 11th District.
Paid for by Dr. Kent Mercado for Congress.
For excellence in metal finishing, discover Reliable Plating. A trusted name in Chicago since 1954, Reliable is a fourth-generation family business and offers a wide range of finishes on nearly any metal substrate. From black chrome to electroless nickel, from cadmium to precious metals, Reliable offers nearly every type of plating as well as chromating and passivating. They can also manage your polishing, buffing, or abrasive blasting requirements prior to plating. Every job, big or small, goes through meticulous planning and processing to ensure the results meet all the specifications and expectations of you or your customer. Allow Reliable Plating to become the plating department of your business. Reliable is ISO 9001 certified and ITAR registered. Reliable's promise, like their name, is clear: to continue a tradition of quality and dependability. Visit reliableplating.com and call Colt for quotes or questions. That's reliableplating.com.
TV news. It's a love-hate relationship. Well, let's be honest, more hate. We agree. That's why we're different. Salem News Channel has assembled the greatest collection of conservative minds all in one place. Home to Charlie Kirk, Hugh Hewitt, Eric Metaxas, and more. There's finally a place on TV for lovers of freedom like you. Watch anytime, on any screen, free 24/7. Find what you're looking for at snc.tv. That's snc.tv. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, we span the range. We go from the uplifting story of Chestnut Mountain Ranch in West Virginia, Steve Finn, to an update on Deer Creek High School in Edmond, Oklahoma, where they lick people's toes for money, or have kids lick people's toes for money, that is. We've got an update on that story at 8:08.
So graphic, I didn't want to remember it, but I did. All right, but now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Security measures are laid out ahead of the August Democrat National Convention. The mansion tax is back on the ballot. Bulls beat the Jazz in the final seconds, and Northwestern falls to Michigan State. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
The president wants a big reset. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. When he addresses the nation tonight, but Republicans like Senator John Barrasso hope it's
Joe Biden's last State of the Union address. And that's because the American people are not going to invite him back to give another one next year.
Fox's Jackie Heinrichs at the White House.
Not only does President Biden have to convince Americans Trump would threaten democracy, and also that Biden's actually done a good job on things like the economy, despite all of the poor polling that reflects on him. He will also have to deliver his speech with enough vigor to convince voters that he is electable for another 4 years at the ripe young age of 81 years old.
After the State of the Union, Senator Katie Britt will give the Republican response. In Alabama, which is Britt's home state, Republican Governor Kay Ivey has signed a new law shielding IVF patients and providers from legal liability after Alabama's Supreme Court controversially ruled that frozen embryos have the same rights as children. The father of a school shooter is on trial in Michigan. holding James Crumbly responsible weeks after Ethan's mother was convicted on similar charges of involuntary manslaughter for not doing enough to address the boy's mental illness. Opening statements about to get underway.
His son brought a gun to school and ended up killing 4 students and injuring 7 others. Now, James Crumbly, he is accused of buying that gun for his son and then not properly storing it away so that he could get his hands on it.
Robin Murdoch with Fox 2 TV outside the court. Ethan Crumbly pleaded guilty to murder. He's in life in prison now. The manhunt continues in Philadelphia for masked gunman who shot 8 students at a city bus stop.
We are just absolutely heartbroken and angry that innocent children walking home from school would be impacted by gun violence.
School Superintendent Tony Watlington, one of the victims, is in critical condition. America's listening to Fox News.
Partly sunny this morning. Clouds and rain on the way. It's 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago's mansion tax is back on the ballot after an Illinois appellate court ruling yesterday. Mayor Brandon Johnson.
I'm grateful that so many people have worked hard over the course of now the 3rd administration, because this has been a long time coming for the people of Chicago.
The referendum in question would impose a mansion tax that would change how real estate transfers are taxed. Federal and local officials are laying out security plans ahead of the 2024 Democrat National Convention in Chicago in August. While the Secret Service, as usual, will handle security measures inside the United Center, Chicago police will receive specialized training and will handle security outside of the arena.
We're training our officers for these large-scale protests, understanding the First Amendment, constitutional policing. Every single thing that we're doing right now is rooted in constitutional policing.
Superintendent Larry Snelling. One man is dead, a woman hurt after a shooting at a West Side gas station Wednesday. It happened in the 2900 block of West Fulton. Police believe the victims were targeted. A former college track and field coach was sentenced Wednesday to 5 years behind bars for setting up sham social media and email accounts in an attempt to trick women, including some he coached, into sending him nude or semi-nude photographs. Stephen Waith coached at Penn State University and locally at IIT and Concordia, pleaded guilty last year to 12 counts of wire fraud and other counts. Chicago sports. Bulls beat Utah 119-117. College hoops. Northwestern lost to Michigan State 53-49. The news is a service of the Chicago Gaelic Park House Raffle. Enter to win a brand new home or a $450,000 cash prize, $100 per ticket. Drawing held March 24th. Visit ChicagoGaelicParkHouseRaffle.com. 8:04. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
There's a sign people are still shopping for new clothes when the price is right. Shares of Burlington stores are up 1% after the discount clothing chain reported better than expected sales and earnings, and its forecast also topped Wall Street expectations. Big Lots, a discount chain that's now more of a home furnishings business, continues to lose money. Sales in the recent quarter were down more than 7%, though its CEO Bruce Thorne says it finished last year in a much better place than where it started. He says Big Lots is moving aggressively to step up its transformation to solidify its position as America's discount home store. GE shares are higher. Its GE Aerospace business is buying back $15 billion worth of stock. GE Aerospace will become a standalone company April 2nd. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Women's sports are under attack in America by those with a radical agenda that seeks to erase the differences between men and women in classrooms, on playing fields, and in locker rooms. No one knows this better than All-American swimmer Riley Gaines. See Riley Gaines live in Chicagoland on Friday, March 22nd, presented by Breakthrough Ideas and the Parents Matter Coalition. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/tickets. That's 560theanswer.com/tickets. Sponsored by Blue Star Security.
AMAC is the Association of Mature American Citizens, an organization who's not only dedicated to America's seniors, but is vital for conservatives of all ages. AMAC stands out by not only advocating for senior issues, but also by pushing for conservative values that affect us all. By joining, you're not just supporting our senior citizens, you're part of a movement defending our freedoms and securing our nation's future. Plus, membership brings you exclusive benefits like discounts on travel, dining, entertainment, and special insurance rates. Regardless of your age, if you're driven to preserve freedom, AMAC welcomes you. This is about uniting youthful vigor with wisdom of experience in our quest for conservative principles. Sign up now at amac.us/fight. And for a limited time, get a free gift membership for someone who shares your love for our great nation. Don't miss out on this chance to make a difference with AMAC. Join today at amac.us/fight and extend the invitation to a friend or family member for free.
If you want the best meats and seafood that you can never find in the butcher aisle, you need to check out my guy Chris with Second City Prime. Second City Prime has scoured the world for the best meats and seafood on the planet. Learn how to discover them all at secondcityprime.com. I met Chris nearly 20 years ago when he used to park his truck outside of the Board of Trade. I worked at the Merc, and to see Chris build his business from a truck parked outside the Board of Trade, along with his wife Susie, you understand the kind of love that makes them simply the best. They go the extra mile to get you exactly what you're looking for. Everything from the best meat and seafood in the world to special orders for your corporate gifts. They can handle it all. Treat yourself with specialty items like the Japanese Wagyu, the Iberico, Spanish pork, the South African cold water lobster tails, and the Colorado domestic lamb. They are also debuting a brand new steakhouse in the heart of Lincoln Park called Butcher and the Bear. They celebrate the art of butchery so you can savor delicious cuts of meat in the atmosphere that whispers of a bygone era. Check them out today at secondcityprime.com.
Federal authorities are spying on conservatives. They were just exposed for pressuring banks to look for transactions with keywords like MAGA, Trump, and Bible. This is not the America I know. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I am deeply concerned about the tyranny I see in Washington. And this is why I'm thankful for physical gold IRAs, because they offer tangible financial security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. To find out more, text the word PROTECT to 989898. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. This is your chance to secure your IRA or your 401k against the unpredictable nature of our economy. Text PROTECT to the number 989898 now to request your free info kit on gold IRAs. That's PROTECT to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
8:09. The news: the service of Second City Meats and Seafood. Now you can enjoy the world-class meats and seafood you just won't find at the butcher. Japanese Wagyu, Iberico, Spanish pork, South African cold water lobster tails, and Colorado domestic lamb. Discover more at secondcityprime.com. Eden's, as you travel, the 21 minutes, Lake Cook Road into the junction. Not so bad right now, but Kennedy starting to pile up this morning as well. 52 from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Stevenson at 55 minutes from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Lakeshore Drive itself jams up northbound between Foster and Hollywood, and roadwork delays northbound between the Stevenson and Grand Avenue. Traffic, a service of the DMRE Group, a service of Del Bacchio Marchetti Group of Properties, Christie's International Real Estate, experts in the northwest suburbs and Chicago with over $800 million in sales. You'll get the most value for your home. 708-822-0000, 708-822-0000. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. We start with sun Then clouds on the increase and a high of 51. Currently 38. Your next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Edmond, Oklahoma, a great place to grow. That's the city's motto. And apparently it's a great place to lick chocolate out of the armpit of your classmates and random adults.
Wait, I thought it was peanut butter off their feet. Now they're chocolate in the armpits?
Their Libs of TikTok brought us the story that we talked about earlier in this week. Fundraising at Deer Creek High School in Edmond, Oklahoma, which involves the students sucking on the toes and licking the feet of fellow students and I think some adults. So these are freshmen to seniors, so, 14 years old. And, yeah, it was allegedly they were licking peanut butter off of the toes or something like this. But it turns out more videos have surfaced. And it's not just Deer Creek High School. It's all the schools in the government school system in Edmond. Edmond Memorial, Edmond North. And they've been doing it for years. Shouldn't be surprising that they didn't get caught the first time. Or these videos didn't surface the first time they did this. And the other videos have kids licking peanut butter off the feet of, I don't know, I can't tell if there are other students because the faces are blotted out, if there are other students or adults. And double teaming, one kid per foot. And then also licking chocolate out of the armpits of the same people.
Okay, and now I'm going to get sick. That is so disgusting. Oh, God.
But hey, wait a second. It's
for
for a good cause.
We raised $152,000 for the children.
It's for a good cause. Look, I'll do anything for a good cause, including tap my 14-year-old to lick chocolate out of the armpit of some dude. Right? For a good cause. Ryan Walters is the state school superintendent for the state of Oklahoma. He's been addressing this on social media, but he went to Fox News to address it there, too.
So the story, it's disgusting. It's outrageous. This is a breach of trust for parents with a school district. So first of all, this should never happen. In Oklahoma, this isn't our values. We're not going to stand for it. So we immediately have launched an investigation. And to your point, yeah, that's what the district's saying. Well, the district allowed this to happen. So we will be investigating it. We will be finding out were adults involved, were administrative staff involved, who okayed this. And frankly, this is why parents' rights are so important. You've heard Joe Biden fight against parents, fight against transparency and accountability. You've heard President Trump champion bringing parents' rights back to the classroom, back to the schools. This is why we should be investigating districts, not targeting parents the way Joe Biden has. We are going to get to the bottom of this here in Oklahoma. This is unacceptable. We will not allow this in the state of Oklahoma. First of all, we want clarity from the district of what actually happened here. Who okayed this? What adult said this is okay? Secondly, when did you tell parents? We've been told by multiple parents we didn't know anything about this beforehand, and we weren't told immediately afterwards either. So where is the accountability from the district? Well, there will be accountability from us, both of what process was in place, what were parents told when, and what kind of process or procedure do you have? You're supposed to be the adults. These are children. The adults should have been looked after the children and their care, not breaking the trust of parents. So those are all things we will get to the bottom of this very quickly here.
Dad, can you sign this consent form so I can suck peanut butter off the toes of some dude?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You could also reach us on our text line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. Because parents, we sign stuff and we never know what we're signing stuff for, but maybe parents should know what their kids are doing, but I have. Is there video of the under armpit licking?
Yes.
Oh God, Dan, is it just gross? Because the other one of them sucking the toes.
No, it's very appetizing. It's making me hungry. Of course. Is it gross?
Does the tongue get wrapped around the armpit hair? No, too soon. But the one of them licking the peanut butter off the feet looks
Can I put
so
some whipped cream on
sexual.
this?
Well, it's so sexual in nature. It looks like they're sex slaves.
It is.
It's grotesque. It's just, who in the world would think this is a good idea? No one exercises common sense anymore.
And I'm sorry, if this was going on at all the schools for years, this is what Libs of TikTok is suggesting based on these other videos that have been unearthed, then, I mean, some people had to know. I mean, you see in the videos, the more recent videos with the chocolate and the armpits and the peanut butter and you see the backdrop where again, it's in a gymnasium where you have people in the bleachers.
Right. If
So,
they're not
I mean-
participating in it, they're watching it. And they don't think that something's wrong?
Yeah, did something get into the water system in Edmond, Oklahoma, or I mean it's really difficult to process, frankly. I mean,
Now you're going to make me look. Did you blog it, by the way? Or do I?
Yeah, it's there. Link's there. I mean, obviously, men gyrating in front of grade schoolers in scantily clad men gyrating in front of toddlers before reading them a story, that's normal. But this, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm so desensitized by what's happening in the government school systems and some of the private schools too, that I don't know. It's sort of like what Leon Wolf's book review of Meghan McCain's book. Mm-hmm. I am not a good enough writer to come up with the words to appropriately describe how bad this is. So that I'm sort of in the same thing. I can't. I'm got a fairly good vocabulary. I'm struggling
Struggling.
the words to properly describe this and what it implicates.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
Did you see it?
Oh, okay.
You see it?
Okay.
You thinking about maybe for the girls' volleyball team this year, raise a little cash?
Little team bonding? Yeah. No, I'm going to pass.
This hasn't come to Amundsen yet?
No, it never would. No one would do this or let this be done to them or allow that to happen. No.
John in Milwaukee.
Oh, boy.
Good morning. They talk of the priests and abuse, and the teachers by far are worse. I am a Catholic, and I am so grateful for the nuns and the rulers. Thank you so much.
Thanks, John. Yeah. I have to agree with you. I got the wear 2-4 a couple of times too in grade school and high school. Probably a good thing.
This is like an assault.
Deborah in Arlington Heights.
Good morning. Welcome to Dystopia. What happened to social distancing? And these are the same people that said you needed to stay home for 2 years or more because you can't be near anybody. Make it make sense to me, because it doesn't.
Well, you get your jab, and then you start licking the chocolate out of the armpits.
Or maybe they had to be tested for COVID first, yes, before they were able to lick away. And then they're like even humping with their bodies. This is disgusting.
Text for 847, perhaps a way to help finance the new Bears Sox stadium. A Cascade Reinsdorf families lick toes and armpits for money. Maybe.
Flicking her hair back. I mean, this is like a porno. I feel like I'm watching porn. All right, I'm just gonna say it.
And kiddie porn, because they're, minors. But hey, it's for.
It's
again,
for the children. Everything's for the children.
I can't emphasize enough. It's not for the children. It's for a good cause.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's for a good cause. I mean, they raise, and this is what the school district initially said, right? We talked about this the other day when this first surfaced. But we raise $150,000 for this local coffee shop that employs people with special needs. Well, it's wonderful that that coffee shop exists, and it's wonderful. It sounds like wonderful what they do. that doesn't exactly justify this approach to raising money for that cause, though, does it now? But that's something else the adults in charge couldn't work through. They couldn't work through the logic of that or the lack of logic.
Groomers is what somebody texted in. That's what these teachers are.
Mike in Tinley Park.
Yes, Dan. We ought to get the names of the school superintendents that allow this to happen, put an all-out effort, because these people are perverts, and we should let them know that this is going on. A lot of people still are asleep. I'm a grandparent, and I know what's going on with my grandchildren. Some of these parents just don't understand what the end game is with these people. And I'm a Catholic, and those nuns, they taught us the right way. They had discipline. Now, where are we going after the CPS school system with all their violations and assaults? You don't hear anything about that.
No, you don't.
Right.
You don't.
Right.
You guys don't even.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Right. Exactly. Rick, Downers Grove.
Hey, good morning. The problem is the parents nowadays. I mean, you got the parents of these kids. Mumsy's got pink hair and is concerned about being nice to Hamas, and Daddy's busy transitioning into an acorn. They don't have time to worry about what's going on with their kids.
All right, Rick. I think all those kids need to be shipped to Chestnut Mountain Ranch in West Virginia. I'll let our friend Steve have a go at properly educating them.
Whatever happened to concerts and bake sales for fundraisers or selling the chocolate bars?
Boring.
What?
Boring. Come on.
You got to entertain the crowd. Everyone's got to get involved. Yeah. Cheer you on while you do something sexual in nature to someone else. Okay.
Yeah, I really am. I'm still.
Yeah, you can't, and you are never.
I mean,
ever won with a loss of words. You can't even talk about this.
I don't think Gore Vidal could conceive of this scene. Okay. Kevin in Austin, Texas.
It's just another indication of the garbage society or garbage culture that we live in, and it's also a manifestation of government thinking. Let's prostitute children so we can save the children. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's
right.
No, yeah, we're going to prostitute the children, but we're going to employ people with special needs. And again, it has nothing to do with the cause. It just has to do with the reasoning. What are you? All of the adults that knew about this, and I don't even know how this got out. Finally, this video made its way to somebody that has some decency, and it made its way to Libs of TikTok, and now it's made its way to national attention. Thank goodness. But I mean, I agree with, was it Mike that said to put their names out? Well, ultimately, Ryan Walters, the state school superintendent, he better prove up, and we should know the names. And then I hope they also bring everybody else in, treat it like a crime family, have everybody turn on everybody to expose everybody who knew about this and somehow thought this was kosher. I mean, it's just, it's stunning. I mean, if you haven't seen it, you will be repulsed in a way that is, I think, difficult to, again, describe.
And that's shocked. Like watching it, you might feel violated, and you're not even there, but it's like it puts you in the room.
High school kids in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Right. Republican Oklahoma.
So it's, there's no place to run and hide, so you may want to stand and fight where you are. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of You Store It, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank. We've developed over 70 storage centers throughout the city and suburbs, and our business continues to grow. We need a bank who understands the neighborhoods and communities where we are making investments. We found that in Signature Bank. They know this city and its neighborhoods because they are based right here in Chicago. Finding a local banking institution like Signature Bank has been critical to the success of You Store It, and we look forward to a long-term relationship.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, I just got done doing it, taking my balance of nature, and I'm so glad I did it before we did that segment. Whew. 31 whole fruits. Oh, excuse me. 31 whole fruits and vegetables. You can smell it. It's balance of nature. I love it. I take my capsules and crack them open into warm water and drink them, and voila, I have more energy. Don't have to get those B12 shots that I used to get once a month. Oh, no. Balance of nature has it all. 31 real fruits and veggies, real food, real nutrition. So get the nutrition your body needs, and eventually your body's going to crave it. Balance of Nature, 800-246-8751. That is the number to call, 800-246-8751. And be sure to use discount code Chicago.
When your home or business has an insurance claim, the next step is very important. The claim process with insurance can be tedious, hard to understand, and difficult to navigate. You need someone working for you. You need a licensed claim adjuster. Why? The insurance company will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them, not you.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company. If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Do you own a business? Are you aware that your business could be hijacked right from under you without your knowledge? Yes, hijacked. Here's how. Fraudsters pretend to be owners and officers of your company by filing false statements of information with the Secretary of State. They essentially become you. That is frightening. BizTrack from Capital Oversight can help defend you and your business and keep you from losing everything. BizTrack offers the most proactive real-time business identity theft solution. BizTrack actively monitors your business information 24/7. It detects any changes that may impact your operations and immediately notifies you by phone, text, or email. Don't leave your business exposed any longer. Secure your business. Secure your future. Trust BizTrack from Capital Oversight. Go to protectmycorp.com right now. That's protectmycorp.com or call 855-417-1700. Don't delay. Let BizTrack protect your organization from identity theft.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we need to shower.
Well, we need to cleanse the palate after that segment, and I've got a great way to do it. You know, once upon a time, I was American Idol correspondent. I was the pundit funded for the Don Wade and Roma show.
I know it was such a bizarre role for you, but actually you nailed it. You got a perfect 10, my young friend.
Well, I'm a big fan. I've sort of fallen off American Idol, but there's this this young woman whose performance was making the rounds, and I wanted to share it. I mean, it's not quite Oliver Anthony quality in terms of the discovery, but it's similar to that, both in terms of the message as well as the talent. This is a high school senior from Starkville, Mississippi, named Jennifer Jeffries. She is one of 9 kids, and it's an original song, a la Richmond, North of Richmond. It's not political, but it is something that would run afoul of, the American Idol culture, if you will. Her original song is called Change My Ways. Here's Jennifer Jeffries from Starkville, Mississippi.
I've got a Bible on my desk with no highlights or creases, though pages are still crisp. I had this idea, Miss Independent, oh, that's who I am, just watch me excel. Well, I'm falling fast, too fast to catch myself. Miss less independent, didn't age too well. Well, I've been feeding the flesh, I've been living in sin. My mouth's been running wild, and I've been acting like a wild child. So I say this prayer, God, I know you're there. I ain't been playing fair, and I've been only praying when I need your help. I'll sing your praise for all my days. I finally changed, Lord, make your ways my ways. I'll sing your praise for all my days. I finally changed, Lord, make your ways my ways. I've got a Bible in my hands with faded pages and highlighted paragraphs.
And she's the youngest of 9 kids, and she got a golden ticket to go to Hollywood, though.
How good is that?
I know.
How good is she's like a cross between Bonnie Raitt and Kim Carnes. But the lyrics, too. I mean, that is unbelievable talent.
The whole package. She's real.
Remember the name, Jennifer Jeffries, Starkville, Mississippi. I hope you're going to be hearing a lot more about her.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 8:38, our friend, former University of Michigan economics professor Mark Perry is on the job again, teeing up colleges that are in violation of federal anti-discrimination laws. We'll have an update from him at 8:38.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
8:32, we have 39 degrees. President Biden set to give his State of the Union address tonight, spotlighting work, according to those at the White House, things he's done on infrastructure. But former President Donald Trump plans to give a talk of his own. Fox's Brian Yennis is in Palm Beach, Florida.
Former President Trump says he will be watching tonight's primetime speech, writing, "We will be doing a live play-by-play of crooked Joe Biden's State of the Union address. I will correct in rapid response any and all inaccurate statements." He says he'll be also particularly looking at his statements on the border. Now that he's the presumptive Republican nominee, Trump has called on Republicans to unite. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell endorsed Trump despite personal attacks against McConnell's Asian American wife, Elaine Chao, and blaming Trump for the January 6th Capitol riot.
The parents of imprisoned Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gerskovich will attend with House Speaker Mike Johnson. Longtime North Carolina State House Representative George Cleveland lost the GOP primary this week to a 21-year-old college student. Wyatt Gable was on Fox this morning saying what made him want to run as a 21-year-old.
I remember I was sitting in my microeconomics class and I wrote him an email and never heard anything back. And I just remember how it felt, and I don't want anyone to feel the same way I felt, not being left out. So That's where I got the idea, and here we are now.
Gable won the election by fewer than 100 votes, finishing with about 51% of the vote. His platform prioritizes education reform and cutting government spending. Self-service screening technology is being tested by the TSA at a Las Vegas airport this week. The new setup has fewer TSA agents at the security checkpoint, more streamlined operations. Passengers are actually greeted by a virtual agent who assists them by answering questions, and then officers will monitor X-ray machines remotely. St. Francis of Rome School in Cicero has been saved from closure this summer after donors came forward to keep the school open for at least the next 5 years. However, in January, the Archdiocese of Chicago also said they would close St. Odilo School in Berwyn. St. Odilo is still projected to close. Chicago's mansion tax is back on the ballot after an Illinois appellate court ruling yesterday. And federal and local officials are laying out security plans ahead of the 2024 Democrat National Convention in Chicago. But will local police be enough? Mayor Brandon Johnson was asked if he'll call for help from the Illinois National Guard.
The National Guard, that's under the jurisdiction of the governor of Illinois, right? So all I can say is what I am responsible for and how we are coordinating with every single level of government.
The DNC is set for mid-August at the United Center. The Bulls and Utah scuffled in the closing seconds, but the Bulls end up on the right side of a 119-117 win. Big Ten hoops, Northwestern, a lifeless second half and a loss to Michigan State, 53-49. The news, a service of Second City Prime Meats and Seafood. Now you can enjoy the world-class meats and seafood that you just won't find at the butcher. Japanese Wagyu, Iberico Spanish pork, South African cold water lobster tails, and Colorado domestic lamb. Discover more at secondcityprime.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager always speaks the truth.
Another guy defeated women in a sport. This is a girls' high jump contest. It's a matter of truth. It's not a matter of pro-trans, anti-trans. It's a matter of truth. It's a boy. That's why this person won the high jump contest.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
This is the time of year to enjoy life, so stop letting pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want to do this spring. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking lasting joint pain relief, folks. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. No pain pills, no risky surgery. This is an all-natural solution. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who've reclaimed their mobility. Take action now. Live your best life this spring and summer. It's a great use of your tax refund, by the way. So call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
It was the one thing that I was missing in my diet. And since me being a very active person, I do mountain biking, I do triathlons, I run, bike, so I'm always active, I couldn't say anything negative about this product. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's been 100% natural, and I tell you, I feel amazing.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Chicago.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Protecting Your Assets with Steve Shyman. Listen Saturday mornings at 8. Learn more at willsave.com.
8:38, let's check the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. It's a service of Dell Technologies. Thank you for 40 unforgettable years. Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. Save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by the Intel Core processor. Dell.com/deals. 30 minutes on the inbound Edens from Lake Cook Road to the junction. Kennedy Express lanes jammed solid. It's 1 hour from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The ICANN right now, an hour 18, 390 to the old post office. Stop and slow 17th all the way to Oakley. DuSable Lakeshore Drive jam northbound Bryn Mawr up through Hollywood. And in Bartlett, Army Trail remains closed east and westbound between Smith and Gerber due to a major gas leak that may reopen after the morning rush to work. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Sun for the morning, then clouds on the increase. 51 for a high, a low of 42 overnight with periods of rain toward dawn. 39 right now. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. The fight to kill die, diversity, inclusion, equity on college campuses and K-12 school systems and corporate America, everywhere. It's uneven in terms of the progress that's being made against this pernicious form of identity politics that's masqueraded as some sort of hefty intellectual theory. It's not. Just counting by race and other identity characteristics. It's not particularly robust. University of Florida recently minted university president there, Ben Sasse, former senator from Nebraska. They got rid of the die infrastructure altogether. They're just zeroing it out.
Just done with it.
That's good.
That's a start.
North Carolina just announced the new dean of their new school, the School on Civic Life, and he is a classicist and philosopher by training. It seems like there was enough interest from trustees and donors to maintain some interest in Western civilization at University of North Carolina, so that's good news. The DIE director at Johns Hopkins University's medical school, who we talked about a few weeks back when her privilege hit list surfaced. Her name is Dr. Sharita Hill Golden, and she's a medical doctor. She put out a privilege hit list, including, I think, targeting people, targeting individuals like white people because of their inherent privileges. Well, she's decided to step down, no doubt under pressure. Houghton University in New England, the president there, Wayne Lewis, it's a Christian university, small Christian university, but at least he's making a public statement because a lot of Christian universities are not, and school systems and academic heads are not. The president there, Wayne Lewis, is saying, boys are not playing girls' sports here. We're not doing that. That's a stronger statement than the NCAA is willing to make, for example. But on the flip side, don't get too excited. University of Virginia, they spend $20 million annually on their DIE staff. The Senior Associate Dean and Global Chief Diversity Officer.
Fit that on a business card, huh?
Oh, well, you can afford to because his base pay is $451,000. Oh. When you burden it with the benefits, it's almost $600,000. And then the guy below him is at $400,000, and the girl below him is at $312,000, and the guy below her is at $224,000, and on down the line, all the way down to a paltry $166,000.
Oh, that poor peasant at the bottom.
That's a lot of people and a lot of money to count by race. So,
Wrong
just
business, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The business for the race hustlers and the identitarians is still fairly robust. Don't kid yourself. We, as I've said many times, we let things go so far off the rails, it's going to take a while, and it will be painstaking to get them back on the rails everywhere. Some are more approaching this with more alacrity than others, say in Gainesville, as compared to, I don't know, Champaign. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Mark Perry. Mark Perry is a professor emeritus, University of Michigan, in economics and finance. He's also the Carpe Diem blogger for the American Enterprise Institute, and he's also a one-man gang when it comes to exposing and filing complaints against K-12 school districts as well as universities that are taxpayer funded and in violation of federal anti-discrimination laws. So let's get a little bit of update about what he's been up to. Mark Perry, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy. Glad to be on again.
Before we get to your work, I mean, just sort of you're still, you spent a long time in academia. You know the landscape. I mean, you're still very engaged in what's happening on college campuses per this anti-discrimination hawking that you do. And so what's your handle on where DIE stands? I remember in your blog you used to document how big the and how expensive the dye staff was at University of Michigan often. So, what's your handle on where identity politics is going after the Supreme Court's decision, the Harvard admissions case, and then these examples and counterexamples we see popping up around?
Yeah, well, there's a couple strongholds. You mentioned University of Virginia and all of their highly paid diversicrats. I do an annual study on the University of Michigan, which I said is becoming a diversity empire that runs a university on the side. They have 241 full-time paid staffers that focus on diversity at a cost of more than $30 million. And then when you factor in some unfilled positions and some positions that are being advertised and different committees, I can estimate that the number of people focused on DEI or DIE, as we like to say at University of Michigan, is about 700 staff members, and they have these 5-year diversity plans. They're just introducing diversity 2.0, so it's kind of like the Soviet Union or China when they have these 5-year plans for an ideal communist society. They're doing these 5-year plans for an ideal diverse university, I guess. But as you mentioned, there's a lot of progress being made in the opposite direction, scaling this back in places like Florida and so on, and other states. And Chris Rufo is kind of at the forefront of that. So there's progress being made, and I think we've kind of turned the corner towards bringing a lot of attention to this in both higher education and in the corporate world. And we've got like Ed Bloom, who's bringing lawsuits against DEI initiatives in corporate America. I'm doing this in higher education. I've filed now more than 900 complaints for more than 2,000 violations. So there's some progress there. So I think going forward, it's a little bit more balanced now. And, I think Michigan and Virginia, places like that, will be a stronghold, partly because in Michigan, the legislature has very little control over the public universities there. It's a unique kind of system, whereas in Florida and other states, the legislatures have a lot more power and control over the funding. So, Virginia, Michigan might be kind of strongholds and outposts. The rest of the country, I think, is moving in the opposite direction, which I think is a great sign.
I saw that you recently, as you mentioned, the complaints that you recently filed one against UNC Wilmington over their LGBTQ swim-only program.
Yeah, this is just like, it's like the universities are obsessed with segregating and separating people, almost like in the tradition of the KKK, to have everybody separated and segregated, whether it's for swimming in a pool or for being in a classroom to learn algebra. So they, and I'm sure none of this is so pervasive and widespread that they never even think when they come up with a new idea like this that, hey, maybe we should make sure we should get legal clearance from the Office of General Counsel or something. So whoever had the bright idea, they were going to shut down the entire pool at UNC Wilmington and have an LGBTQ plus only party that was exclusively for transgender, non-binary, and queer UNCW folks. So I found out about it and filed a complaint with the Office for Civil Rights, and then used that complaint as a basis to share a courtesy copy with the Office of General Counsel and the Chancellor and President and everybody at UNC. And within a couple days, after it had gone through a legal review, which it should have gone through in the first place but didn't, they changed it to just an LGBTQ plus pool party. They left out the only, and then the description was that it's an LGBTQ plus pool party for UNCW folks. So this happens all the time, and that's another strategy I use, is get the complaint filed with the Office for Civil Rights, use that as a way to get the attention of the university lawyers, who are usually not very sympathetic about breaking federal civil rights laws. So I can often get some pretty fast turnaround, like in this case within about 48 hours, by getting the university lawyers involved after the complaint's been filed, when they should have really been consulted before the program was even initiated and advertised and promoted. So that's an example of a success I've had recently.
And they went through with that pool party, right? I mean, it happened.
Yeah, they did have the pool party last Wednesday from like 5 to 6:30 or something.
Did I attend? I'm just kidding. Too soon. But then now but now there's an issue at Mundelein High School. Can you tell us what's going on there?
Yeah, I got tipped off there, and I think that was after the situation at Edmond Township High School district got kind of exposed partly through your program, and then I filed a complaint. But then Mundelein, I was tipped off there that, again, just in the tradition of the Ku Klux Klan almost, that they were having identity-based social support groups that excluded and separated students based on race and sex, and then they had a BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, People of Color staff affinity group that was going to restrict participation to only the school staff who were Black, Indigenous, and people of color. And then they also had a Girls Who Code program that was restricted on the basis of sex to only girls. So again, I'm sure none of that went through any kind of legal review. So after it was brought to my attention, I filed a complaint last summer, and I just got notice a few days ago from the Chicago Office for Civil Rights that they had investigated the complaint, and the school district now had agreed to open up all the support group, the staff affinity group, and the Girls Who Code, that those are all open now to all students, staff, regardless of sex and race. So again, some progress there, but only after they get caught do they then realize that they're in violation of federal civil rights laws and their federal funding is at jeopardy. And then they make the changes after they've been exposed. But they, unfortunately, they don't monitor their new programs ahead of time, get legal clearance, because again, it's so widespread that they all think that this is okay.
Well, right. I mean, they're righteous in terms of their segregating by race or sex or sexual orientation or what have you, sexual identity, whatever, because, I mean, so that it's righteous. So what does federal law have to do with anything? We're rallying for the marginalized. I mean, the Evanston Township High School, just to refresh people's recollection, special AP classes for Black students, special AP class for Latino students with special assistance that'll be provided for Black and Latino students, but not for white students or Asian students or anybody else, because they're not a marginalized population. And they just do this by the seat of their pants because, again, they're just, feeling their way through life. And this is what we're supposed to do, to be allies with these disadvantaged populations and so forth. That's the extent of the thinking that goes on.
Oh, that's right. I mean, they're under the false assumption that there's an exception to federal civil rights laws if you have good intentions and you're discriminating in favor of what they would think are the right groups for the right reasons. But Title IX and Title VI are very clear. There is no discrimination allowed regardless of the intentions. And so Evanston Township, again, you would have to think of, well, would the Ku Klux Klan approve of their original course design? And the answer would be yes, that because they had separate sections for Black students, separate sections for Latinx students, and then I guess the white students would be in the other sections. So again, they thought that was a good idea, complete violation of federal civil rights law. They got caught, and so now they've revised their eligibility in kind of a sneaky and disingenuous way, because they realize they can't say this course is restricted to students who identify as Black. So now they're saying this course this is a calculus class, so they're learning college calculus, and the course is going to emphasize examples that some individuals in the Black community identify as shared experiences when they're learning about logarithms and trigonometry and exponential functions and so on. I'm not even quite sure what shared experiences in the Black community would mean here.
Well, of course, they're going to harm the people that they're trying to help because they're so upside down intellectually. But I mean, and I just want to make this clear, too. This is nothing against free association, people getting together voluntarily, private institutions. This is about state-sponsored, financed, separate but equal. And that's the problem.
Well, yeah, and that's how Title IX and Title VI are written, that if you're a recipient of federal funds from the Department of Education, then you have to actively enforce Title IX's prohibition of discrimination on the basis of sex and Title VI's prohibition for discrimination on the basis of race, color, or national origin. So you accept that money, then you're under a legal obligation to actively enforce federal civil rights laws, but they take the money and then they violate the federal civil rights laws. That's the problem. That's my motivation to file 926 complaints against these universities and K-12 schools that violate their legal obligation and responsibility to enforce federal civil rights laws.
Enforcement of the federal law. It's such an antiquated concept. Mark Perry, Emeritus Professor of Economics and Finance, University of Michigan, Carpe Diem blogger for the American Enterprise Institute. Mark, thank you as always.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. Have a great day. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hi, I'm Susan Hathaway Altman, a conservative leader running for Congress in the 11th District. I have the heart to fight for you and an America where citizens are first and individual rights and freedoms are upheld. My common sense, practical approach comes from 30 years as a prominent corporate business leader. And as a catalyst for Congress to work together, I'll tackle inflation, border crisis, safety issues, academic excellence, and more. Go to SusanForCongress.com. Early voting open now. I'm Susan Hathaway Altman, and I approve this message. Paid for by the Susan for Congress Committee.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
It was the one thing that I was missing in my diet. And since me being a very active person, I do mountain biking, I do triathlons, I run, bike, so I'm always active, I couldn't say anything negative about this product. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's been 100% natural, and I tell you, I feel amazing.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Chicago.
Are you tired of the ups and downs of the stock market? Are you sick of logging into your brokerage account only to find out that you've lost hundreds or thousands of dollars in a single day? At MarketBeat, we know that constantly moving in and out of stocks hoping to get lucky is a loser's game. Buying hot stocks after they've already shot up in value is a recipe for disaster. It's time to stop playing the loser's game and invest in stocks that have shown they can stand the test of time. MarketBeat has prepared a free report titled 7 Stocks to Buy and Hold Forever, and we would like to text it to you for free. Text the word profit to 68285. The companies in this report might appear to be nothing special at first glance, but these companies print billions of dollars of cash each year in profit. If you would like to receive our free report of 7 stocks to buy and hold forever, simply text profit to 68285 and we'll text you this report instantly. Text profit to 68285 and we'll send you this free report right now. Text the word profit to 68285.
Standard message and data rates may apply. Please consult with your investment or tax professional.
Relief factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Seth Holhouse brings hope and insight as he fights against socialism and communism on the Man in America podcast, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
The role of the digital world in shaping our perception of the real world cannot be overlooked. It seems like all of these mechanisms are dividing us in endless ways.
Subscribe to Man in America today on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, another reminder, if you want to see those videos, those graphic videos of child pornography. No, it's not deemed child pornography, but you can see them all on our Morning Answer website. Go to morninganswerchicago.com. You can see that. Also a reminder, too, that we will be airing the State of the Union address live right here on AM 560. Beginning at what time, Mike? 7 o'clock, right? 8 o'clock Eastern?
Yep.
I'm all over it. I'll be there watching. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Security measures laid out ahead of the DNC in August. The mansion tax back on the ballot. The Bulls beat the Jazz in the final seconds. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
Can he convince us